This guy was at the hospital right next to his sister who's in a coma. The reason she's like this? An S-rank hunter made a mistake during a fight, and she became the victim. Now Yang Jai is absolutely pissed. He wasn't a hunter until now, but he just awakened something insane. Maybe it's the gods telling him he has to get his revenge. Outside the hospital room, his dad was in a complete rage. The hunter sent a rep with a deal to pay 100 grand for the girl's medical bills. Yang Jai's dad wasn't having any of it. He wanted justice and for the hunter to be right there to apologize. Yang Jai then stepped in. He told the rep he'd take the money, but the hunter had to apologize in person. The guy said that'd be impossible. Hearing that, our protagonist gave a subtle smile. So this is how these famous hunters really are, he thought. In that case, the money is enough. Yang Jai explained to his dad that they need the cash to treat Fei Fei, but that he's going to get justice with his own hands. Seems like the kind of move a weak guy like the protagonist couldn't pull off, right? But what those suits and his own dad don't know is that Yang Jai isn't your average kid. He just awakened a hidden and terrifying ability, the power to steal other people's abilities, and he already tested it out on his own sister and it worked perfectly. When the man left the hospital, it was already evening. He called on the phone and said that he had settled everything, though he had to add another 100,000 in compensation. Bing Chu Jr. said it was only 100,000. He praised Lawyer Wang and said that he would tell his secretary later to send them the money. Their conversation ended. Lawyer Wang said that the hero likes to rest. If only he could also awaken an ability. The guy again came to visit his sister in the hospital. He told Fei Fei not to blame him for signing the contract. After all, she knows their family's situation, but she shouldn't worry about it because he will find out the truth. He doesn't believe that all this was unintentional. Some awakened ones are unworthy of being called heroes, and he will change this world. His name is Yang Jai, and he is a trainee reporter. He is a person who was unintentionally harmed by an A-rank hero. His sister was Yang Fei Fei. To implement his plan, he moved out from his parents and came to the Mingyu area. Yang Jai moved into his new apartment, where he was greeted by two girls. One of them greeted him and said, "My name is Ding Lan. The girl sitting on the sofa is Jai Wai, and there's another neighbor who hasn't returned yet." Jai Wai also greeted him. Ding Lan asked Yang Jai, "What is your name?" Yang Jai also introduced himself. Ding Lan said that new housemates rarely come these days, so why don't they celebrate this event? Jai Wai said that she is a younger student who entered this year, so she will be in the library tonight, and they can go without her. Yang Jai went to his room, stating that a celebration wasn't necessary. He had just arrived and was a bit tired, so he wanted to rest. He entered his new room and lay down on the bed. He took out his phone. The video where heroes fought monsters had become quite popular, and consequently, many videos explaining abilities had also surfaced. Yang Jai didn't remember exactly when it started, but all over the world, dark portals had suddenly begun to appear. Through these portals, monsters arrived on their planet. The planet could only stop the invasion of these monsters thanks to the possessors of abilities, who were called heroes. To prevent hunters from abusing their powers, an ability law was passed, stating that only hunters who passed the test and received a hero certificate could use their abilities. Yang Jai turned on a video, recognizing it as the one in which Yang Fei Fei was injured by a hero. He exhaled, noting that he hadn't found anything suspicious yet, but he would study the video again tomorrow. He then looked at the time. "What the hell? It was already 2:30 in the morning," he exclaimed. He needed to quickly brush his teeth and wash up because he still had a lot of work tomorrow. He left his room and saw a drunk girl. He realized this must be the last neighbor. He decided to say hello to her. The girl asked Yang Jai if he wouldn't mind letting her use the restroom. She went into the bathroom and vomited. Then she fell asleep in the toilet. Yang Jai approached her and asked if she was okay. Should he help her in some way? The girl replied that men shouldn't get too close to a girl in such a state. Therefore, Yang Jai headed towards Ding Lan's room. He knocked on her door, and Ding Lan opened it. She asked him why he wasn't sleeping yet, as it was already so late. Yang Jai apologized for the trouble, explaining that the other roommate was drunk in the toilet, and asked if Ding Lan, being a woman, could help her. As a man, he wasn't comfortable helping her with this. Ding Lan told him to just leave her there, explaining that this wasn't the first time, it was pretty late, and she had to work tomorrow. Yang Jai should also go to bed. Then she slammed the door. Yang Jai realized it seemed he was the only one who could help her. He approached the girl again and asked if she could get up, but the girl did not answer him, so Yang Jai apologized in advance. He took her in his arms, and the system immediately sent him a notification. An ability to overload the brain was detected. Yang Jai realized this girl also had an ability. The system then sent him a full description of this ability. It was an F-rank ability. Title: Brain Overload. Description: puts the brain in a state of overload for a short period of time, greatly increasing its computational abilities. Rating: good potential. The owner didn't seem to know she possessed this ability. Yang Jai laid the girl on the sofa and covered her with a jacket. He mused that this girl seemed to think she was very smart. If she studied well, she could become the best. He would still take her abilities, but in the future, he would somehow compensate her for it. The system announced that the brain overload ability was successfully stolen. Yang Jai wondered what effect it would have on him. The system informed Yang Jai that both brain overload and mental attack belonged to mental abilities and asked if he wanted to unite them. Yang Jai decided to combine these two abilities. The system announced that the merging of abilities was complete. This was a new D+ rank ability. Name: Super Brain. Ability description: automatically sends mental attacks. A significant increase in the ability to calculate and deduce. Evaluation: this is a double-edged sword and must be used wisely. After reading all this information, Yang Jai realized he might be able to find some clues in the video of the incident in which Yang Feifei was injured. The next day, someone knocked on Yang Jai's door. He woke up and asked who was there. He opened the door and saw yesterday's girl. The girl returned his coat, the one he had used to cover her. She thanked him for helping her last night. She said her name was Lin Neishu. Yang Jai took back his coat, thinking she was the same girl from last night. He thought, now she looks so innocent. Yang Jai told her it was no problem. He had just extended a helping hand. He introduced himself as Yang 11. He then remembered something. He had taken her ability last night, even though she didn't even know she possessed a pull ability. So, he decided to ask her if she was okay. Do you feel uncomfortable anywhere? Lin Neishu smiled at him and said everything was fine. I'm already used to it, so don't worry so much about me. Just then, a man burst into his room, calling out to him, so this is how you live here now? The man noticed Lin Neishu and asked Yang Jai if he had started dating someone behind his back. Yang Jai told him not to talk nonsense. After all, this is Lin Neishu, my neighbor. The man was in shock, thinking he had been too impulsive renting an entire apartment. After all, renting an entire apartment was not very profitable. He smoothed his hair and greeted Miss Lin Neishu. He said his name was Fan Peng, and he was Yang Jai's friend and colleague. Lin Neishu shook hands with him and told him to just call her Neishu. Fan Peng then told her he was an ability user. His ability allowed him to take pictures and videos with his bare hands, so if she ever wanted some beautiful photos. But then Yang Jai intervened, telling Lin Neishu that Fan Peng had come to take him to the editorial office. They were on their way there together. Fan Peng tried to interrupt Yang Jai, telling him he hadn't finished talking and asking why he was in such a hurry. At the Lugan Publishing Company, Yang Jai began to review that video again. He activated his super brain deduction ability and started watching that video again and again. While watching the video, Yang Jai remarked, "This movement looks very strange," but he was interrupted by Fan Peng, who nudged him with his elbow and asked why he wasn't interested in flirting with girls, especially someone as beautiful as Lin Neishu. "If Yang Jai isn't going to, then I will." To which Yang Jai replied that they were just neighbors, and his friends shouldn't go too far. Then Fan Peng said that from flatmates to bedmates, it's very easy. By the way, I can teach him if he doesn't know how. Then they heard screams announcing a monster's appearance. They got up from their chairs and went to the window. There really was a monster. It was a one-eyed assassin. The government announced to the public that a monster had appeared. In this monster-level disaster, people should go to the nearest shelter, and heroes were on their way. One of the heroes appeared and said that the citizens should not be afraid. After all, the superhero Spicy and Sour Noodles was already here. He wouldn't allow anything to happen to the city of Lugano. When people saw him, they were very happy, saying that he was their hero, B-rank Superman Spicy and Sour Noodles, and he had come to save them all. Meanwhile, Fan Peng, after zooming in on the image of the one-eyed assassin, said that the one-eyed assassin not only had strong defenses, but it also possessed a psychopathic melee ability. The 18 spiders who worked together would have a very hard time dealing with this monster, and the Spicy and Sour Noodles superhero might not win at all. Fan Peng turned around to repeat all the information to Yang 11, but he was no longer there, so he remarked that Yang ran very fast. He continued to watch through the window, saying that people were usually so weak, so it was time to earn some money with his ability. In the meantime, a hero named Fiery Butterfly arrived and asked the elder if he needed help. The superhero Spicy and Sour Noodles said that she was just in time to contain this monster and she should attack it. Fiery Butterfly said she understood. The heroic live broadcast had begun. The hosts were Director Ji and Mao Huang. Director Ji said that superhero Spicy and Sour Noodles was a melee hero, and he had been very selfish and narcissistic when he first appeared. Mao Huang asked the director why he gave the superhero Spicy and Sour Noodles such a review. Director Ji said that in order to activate his ability, he needed to eat a bowl of spicy and sour noodles. So he usually appeared after other heroes had already pretty much exhausted the monster and killed it. Mao Huang smiled and said that, as expected of Director G, he always divulged information that other people didn't know. Director G told Mao Huang to stop talking and continue watching the live broadcast of the battle. Meanwhile, the battle with this monster continued. Fiery Butterfly asked the spicy and sour noodle superhero to step aside. Then, she hit the monster with her superpower, and the TV presenters continued to comment on their battle. Mao Huang declared that the monster's life was coming to an end, to which Director G disagreed, saying it might not be so. Mao Huang, very surprised, asked why he thought so, and Director G replied that monsters are smart. Director G added that he had not yet seen a single sign of anxiety in the monster. After the fire butterfly stopped the flow of her fiery power, everyone saw that the monster was not only not defeated, but it was not even injured. The spicy and sour noodle superhero then stated that the monster had evolved and now possessed a fireproof shield. The fire butterfly was dismayed and, turning to the spicy and sour noodle superhero, asked him if he could hold out even longer. After all, more time would pass before the arrival of other heroes. At that moment, the spicy and sour noodles hero remembered his conversation with the director. The director had told him that the spicy and sour noodles superhero had already entered a critical juncture of his career as a professional hero. If he wanted to break through and become one of the company's most famous stars, then he could no longer afford to lose. Once he failed as a superhero, his fame would decline, and the company would direct all its resources toward younger heroes. This information horrified the spicy and sour noodles superhero, who thought he could not lose his place as a senior in the company. He couldn't let this happen. So, the spicy and sour noodles superhero decided to consume a strange pill. Yang Zai, watching all this, thought he seemed to have already seen this blue pill. At that moment, the monster grabbed the fire butterfly. The fire butterfly began to call for the help of the spicy and sour noodles superhero. The live broadcast showed a frame on the main screen of the monster grabbing the fire butterfly, and comments immediately started pouring in. A user named 3lives3idiots wrote that, as they all already knew, the spicy and sour noodles superhero had only 15 minutes of peak power. Another user named Yin Poo Poo wrote, "Let any hero come and save our young from death." Meanwhile, the fire butterfly, still captured by the monster, was trying to get out, screaming, "I don't want to die!" At that moment, someone tore apart one of the monster's tentacles, thus releasing the fire butterfly. It was the spicy and sour noodles superhero. The TV presenter Mao Huang slammed his fist on the table with joy and exclaimed, "It's excellent! The spicy and sour noodles superhero can only be in combat form for 15 minutes, but this time he has broken through. He's stronger than before." In his joy, Mao Huang jumped up from his chair and exclaimed that the hero hadn't aged yet. Director G calmly remarked that this was rather unexpected. How did he? But an agitated Mao Huang interrupted him, exclaiming, "You're not the one-eyed assassin attacking the spicy and sour noodles hero." Meanwhile, the spicy and sour noodles hero stopped right in front of the one-eyed monster and declared, "It's time to end this battle." The one-eyed monster directed all of its tentacles straight at the spicy and sour noodles hero, but the superhero managed to grab its tentacles and asked, "Is that really all you're capable of?" At one point, the superhero was covered by falling debris, but gaining strength, he burst out, tearing all the one-eyed monster's tentacles. The one-eyed monster was defeated, but the spicy and sour noodles hero also ran out of strength. Blood came from his mouth and he fell to the ground. The fire butterfly rushed toward him. He looked at the fire butterfly and she was very much afraid of him. The pill. "How did it change you?" The fire butterfly grabbed his shoulder and asked what was happening to him. The spicy and sour noodles superhero thought he needed to control himself. After that, he grinned at the fire butterfly and said he was completely fine. He had just used too much of his powers. The fire butterfly told him he had scared her very much. Meanwhile, people began to rejoice. They shouted, "The heroes are so reliable, it's unbelievable. The spicy and sour noodle superhero is so cool." Additionally, everyone began to confess their love to the fire butterfly. Yang Zai was watching all this from afar and thought that everything seemed to be over. He would need to prepare news for them when he returned, but he didn't remember the blue pill at all. Then he turned to the corpse of the one-eyed monster and saw a small monster emerge from it. Yang Zai asked, "Was that really a small one-eyed killer? A clone?" This little one-eyed killer was very agitated. It got out of the one-eyed monster's body and rushed toward Yang Zai. Yang Zai realized this monster was moving toward him and thought that its physical and elemental defenses were so high that perhaps a mental attack would be its weak point. The little one-eyed killer declared it would get revenge on the spicy and sour noodles hero once it found its owner and absorbed enough energy. Noticing Yang Zai nearby, the one-eyed assassin said, "This young man looks very appetizing. Now, he will be my master." Yang Zai looked at it and asked, "Did you just send yourself here?" He adjusted his glasses and said, "Well, now your ability will be mine." After that, he absorbed the ability of the little one-eyed assassin, and the monster fell down dead. The fire butterfly felt this and turned around, thinking that someone was using an ability. Yang Zai, picking up the corpse of the little one-eyed assassin, remarked, "It's good that it was just a weak clone. Even if his weakness was mental attacks, a D+ rank mental attack could not kill him instantly." He began to extract an ability from this monster. When he extracted an ability from it, the system sent him a notification. Ability: B rank, Fire Shield. Description: immune to fire attacks below B rank and significantly increases physical defense. Rating: a very useful tanking ability. After studying all this information, Yang Zai said, "It's like an invisible shell that covers the surface of the body. No matter how strong an ability is, it always has a weak spot." This popular phrase in the world of abilities, however, does not apply to him. Meanwhile, the fire butterfly went looking for the person, asking, "Who's there?" Yang Zai hid behind a building, thinking it wasn't yet time for them to find out about him. The fire butterfly landed near Yang Zai's hiding spot and said, "It's strange. I felt a sharp influx of psychic energy here, and a trace of someone was here." Then a man came out from behind the building and asked the fire butterfly, "Are you looking for me?" The fire butterfly turned around and asked the man, "What ability did you just use?" The man stepped towards her. This man was Yang Zai, who had just put on a mask so the fire butterfly wouldn't recognize him. The fire butterfly asked him if he was also a hero, as she didn't remember seeing him before. Yang Zai threw the corpse of the little one-eyed killer at her feet and said, "No, I'm just a passerby who helped you clean up." The fire butterfly looked at the corpse of the little killer and asked, "Is this a clone of the one-eyed killer?" She thought to herself, "This person could finish off such a strong and dangerous monster in an instant. But he's not a hero. He shouldn't use his powers without permission." Yang Zai was about to walk past the fire butterfly to leave, but she stopped him. She told him he had illegally used his ability and now had to follow her to the Hero Association to have it checked. Yang Zai then asked her, "Do you think you can stop me?" The fire butterfly got angry and said, "Your actions are contrary to the law of abilities." By law, she had every right to take action against him, which she was about to do. Yang Zai remained as calm as ever and asked the fire butterfly, "Is this really how heroes should treat ordinary people?" He grabbed one of her little fire butterflies and crushed it in his hand. Then he walked past her and asked, "Now is it my turn to attack?" The fire butterfly was very frightened and flew away, shouting, "I'm sorry." She said it was entirely her fault and begged him not to kill her. When the fire butterfly flew away, Yang Zai muttered, "Superheroes are spicy and sour noodles and blue pills. What that hero was doing the other day on the glacier must be the same thing." Yang Zai took off his mask and said, "I will definitely find out the whole truth." Evening had already come, and Yang Zai was riding the metro in the city of Luhansk. Yang Zai sat on the subway, thinking that for now, he should stop collecting abilities and focus on developing his brain reboot ability. He also needed to find information about the blue pill. Yang Zai passed by a man offering a brief apology. After the man passed, Yang Zai patted the seat next to him and realized his backpack was gone. He wondered if someone had stolen it. He immediately jumped up from his seat. He began to look around, muttering, "Where the hell is the rooster costume? Was it really the guy in the jacket? Had he disappeared? But they hadn't yet reached the station. He couldn't have gone far from here. Could he be someone with an invisibility ability? But then, what about his smell?" Yang Zai used his brain reboot ability to enhance his senses. After using this ability, he realized the smell of the backpack came from that guy. But his aura and clothes were completely different. So it wasn't invisibility, but perhaps some kind of appearance-changing ability. Yang Zai smirked, thinking, "This ability that came into my hands on its own is quite useful." Even after Yang Zai got off at the subway station, he continued to follow the man. The man muttered, "Today is harvest day," but he didn't understand why he was feeling nervous right now. The man turned around and saw Yang Zai. The man thought, "This guy." Yang Zai just waved his hand. The man thought, "How and when did he figure out I was pursuing him?" Yang Zai called out to him, "Stop!" The man ran away, muttering, "Today I've been hit by a hard stone." The man ran to a public toilet and hid there. But Yang Zai tracked him down and asked, "Are you going to use all the tricks of the middle classes, hiding in the toilet when you're too weak? You must leave immediately." But when Yang Zai switched on the light in the public restroom, the man was not there. Then he wondered, did this guy really go into the women's room? Yang Zai went to the women's restroom. He knocked on a booth and told the man to get out, saying he knew he was there. The man from the booth called Yang Zai a pervert and asked him what he was trying to do. Yang Zai then stood on the blue mat and said, "So you like to do things the hard way," and kicked open the door to the booth. The man screamed, "There's a pervert here," and threw toilet paper at Yang Zai. Yang Zai, removing the toilet paper from himself, thought, "This man's ability is very unusual. It even changed his voice." The man asked Yang Zai for forgiveness, claiming it was his first time. Yang Zai replied that, unfortunately, this ability couldn't change his body or appearance. The man exhaled, saying he was unlucky. He turned to Yang Zai, took out his backpack and said, "Here's my backpack and my things." Yang Zai grabbed the backpack, intending to check if everything was in place, but the man preempted him, saying, "Everything's still there." Yang Zai then asked him if he had looked inside the backpack. The man swore he hadn't even opened it. Yang Zai said, "Good then." He told the man to find a normal job and be a good person in the future. The man agreed, promising he would never steal again, and thanked Yang Zai for sparing him this time. To which Yang Zai replied, "Did I say I was going to spare you?" The man turned pale with fear. A short while later, Yang Zai had already extracted the man's abilities. As he was about to leave, he muttered, "I said I wasn't going to collect abilities anymore." But he couldn't resist such a temptation. It was an F-rank ability. The ability's name was Change Clothes Anywhere. Ability description: you can change clothes with a single movement of your hand. The set also includes storage space. Yang Zai tried this ability on himself and changed his clothes. Now he was wearing a suit. He came out of the changing room thinking it was a very handy and useful ability. Then 2 policemen approached him and greeted him. They told him they had received a report from a citizen about screaming and a pervert in the women's toilets, asking if he had heard anything. Yang Zai told the 2 policemen that he had heard and seen a pervert in disguise there, acting very suspiciously. The policemen groaned and told each other to go and check. Yang Zai watched as the 2 police officers carried the pervert out of the women's restroom. He mused, some ability holders don't deserve their ability, but he would definitely fix it. 1 week later, Yang Zai arrived by taxi and was met by his friend, Fan Peng. Fan Peng waved to him and said, "At last, you're here." But Yang Zai remained as serious as ever and asked his friend what he wanted to tell him that was so important he had to call. Fan Peng approached him, hugged him, and asked him to guess who he had just seen at the nightclub. Yang Zai asked, "Whom?" Fan Peng smiled and said he had seen Yang Zai's girlfriend, Lin Nexu, there. She was there as an attendant. Yang Zai told his friend that she wasn't his girlfriend and questioned why he was telling him all this. They were already approaching the club, and Fan Peng told Yang Zai he could stop pretending in front of him. He could see for himself and understand everything. They entered the club, and Fan Peng invited him to sit at a particular spot. Lin Nexu noticed Yang Zai. Yang Zai, feeling embarrassed, and Fan Peng had already sat down at the table and ordered a cocktail. Fan Peng decided to cheer up Yang Zai, telling him not to be so sad as there were still many beauties on Earth. Today, he was in Fan Peng's territory, so he should just sit back and enjoy. Then he called over some girls. 3 girls approached them and greeted them. Fan Peng introduced the 3 young women, saying that Li Li, Tian Tian, and Pao Pao were all his wonderful little sisters. He introduced his friend to the 3 girls, saying, "Yang Zai is my best friend, and isn't he handsome?" The girl sat next to Yang Zai and exclaimed, "Brother Zai is so handsome." Another girl offered him a drink. At the next table, there were also 2 men and 3 women. One of the men complained that he was unlucky as hell today. If his brother hadn't taken his McLaren, he wouldn't have lost to that brat, Gao Zhen. Lian told the man that he lost the race, so he should just admit it, and not blame the car for everything. This man, Liu Yuan, was already very drunk. He told Lian that he couldn't get through to his father, so he became his bodyguard, and Lian asked him if it was because he couldn't keep his mouth shut. Lian told him that it must really bother a normal person like Liu Yuan to be limited by a hero of Lian's rank. Liu Yuan didn't like that. Liu Yuan got up and punched the girl in the face. He then yelled, "You're all fucking assholes! What are you even doing here? And what is this shitty alcohol? How dare she make me drink it?" After that, he approached the girl who had fallen to the floor from his blow and poured all the alcohol from the bottle on her. Jia Young witnessed this and almost intervened, but he was stopped by Fan Peng, who told his friend not to act recklessly. This young master's name is Liu Yuan, and he is the second son of an A-rank mechanical hero from the Kunlun Company, and his bodyguard is a C-rank hero known as Fiery Fist. But Yang Zai didn't listen to Fan Peng and simply told him to let go. Fan Peng replied that a normal person like Yang Zai was no match for him. Yang Zai said he knew this, adding, "I'm just going to the restroom." Meanwhile, Liu Yuan had already sat back down, surrounded by 2 girls. He hugged them and said, "Now you know how to apologize." He ordered them to kill the girl, promising, "Then I will spare you all." At the same moment, a man began forcibly pouring alcohol into Lin Nexu. Yang Zai, wearing a mask so as not to be recognized, hit the man. Yang Zai then said to Liu Yuan, "I heard that the son of a mechanical hero was present here." But Liu Yuan was already too drunk, so his bodyguard, Li Yan, stood up for him. Li Yan asked Yang Zai, "Who are you?" Liu Yuan, pouring another bottle into himself, slurred, "It's most likely another person who wants to die." Yang Zai replied that he was just someone who wanted to make a deal with brother Liu Yuan. Liu Yuan asked him, "What deal? What other deal?" Li Yan told young master Liu Yuan, "I think it's already quite late. It's time for us to leave." Liu Yuan threw a bottle at him, calling him a piece of shit and ordering, "You should back off! Can't you see that there's someone who wants to make a deal with me?" Li Yan was furious. Liu Yuan called out to Yang Zai, asking, "What kind of deal do you want to make with me?" Li Yan put his hand on Liu Yuan's shoulder and told him, "You're already too drunk. You should sit down and rest." I'll talk with this actor myself. Young-jae sat on the sofa, holding a glass of liquor in his hand. Addressing Li Yan, he asked, "Do you want to attack me? After all, I am generally against violence, but you prevented me from talking about important matters with your master." Young-jae put his glass on the table and stood up. "So," he said, "I'm going to teach you a lesson now." Li Yan told him, "Come on, we'll see who teaches whom a lesson." Li Yan prepared his fiery fists and told Young-jae, "You have a lot of bad luck today, otherwise you wouldn't have provoked me." Young-jae thought, "Fire elemental attacks are C rank." A crowd gathered around them. Someone remarked, "Young-jae is so brave, but he dared to challenge an A-rank hero's disciple." The Jai sisters approached Lin Naexiu and offered to help her wash off the alcohol. Lin Naexiu thanked them. A question was heard from the crowd. "Does anyone know why they're fighting now?" Someone else asked, "Doesn't his mask look like a chicken? He seems so mysterious. Will he be able to defeat the fiery boxer?" Li Yan had already pounced on Young-jae with his fiery fists, but seeing Young-jae's reaction, Li Yan wondered, why isn't he trying to dodge? Maybe it's a trap. As he approached Young-jae, he asked, "What is this?" To which Li Yan scoffed, "How naive. Since the day I became a hero, no enemy or beast has been able to withstand this attack." Then he attacked him. Now people were scared. Someone exclaimed, "It will definitely burn someone." But when the flames dissipated, everyone saw that Young-jae was still fine. Li Yan was also surprised, thinking, "He's safe and sound?" Young-jae then used a mental attack, after which he knocked out Li Yan. Liu Yuan immediately jumped up and exclaimed, "Young-jae is strong! The fiery boxer was defeated with just one blow." After his victory, Young-jae used his extract ability again. It was an A-rank ability titled Flame Strike. Description: conjure flames on hands. Rating: highly effective. During this time, everyone had already fled, and Liu Yuan was left alone. He was also very scared. He immediately came to his senses and asked, "What the hell happened here? Did that moron lose so quickly?" Then he realized he had no other choice and asked Young-jae what deal he wanted to discuss. "How much money do you need? Can you transfer it to me right now?" But Young-jae did not listen to him and grabbed him by the throat. Liu Yuan gasped, "No! Don't you know who my father is?" Young-jae replied coldly, "Your father is a mechanical hero. So what?" Liu Yun told him, "If you kill me, my father will not spare you." Young-jae pulled him closer and said, "I will not kill you, but do you know what I want to share with you?" Liu Yun cleared his throat and asked. Young-jae asked him, "Do you want to have an ability?" Liu Yun was shocked and asked again, "What ability?" Young-jae let him go. Liu Yun cleared his throat and asked him, "Do you really think you are a god? Do you really think this is something you can just give to someone?" Young-jae told him, "If you want to receive it, you must come to this address alone in 7 days," and threw him a piece of paper with an address. After all this was over, Young-jae called his friend. Fan Peng was very worried and said, "I already thought you had fallen into the ground. Why didn't you call?" Young-jae said, "The bar was too noisy. I went outside to take a breath." "What is it?" Fan Peng said, "You missed a good show. I will now come out to you to show you everything that has happened. And do you want to eat barbecue?" Young-jae said that he would eat anything. Young-jae thought that part 1 of his plan had been completed. Now all that remained was to wait for Liu Yun to bite on the hook. If he starts checking from within the Kunlun Company heroes, it will be much faster. He promised his sister Fairy Fairies that soon he would know the whole truth. Meanwhile, all the heroes gathered in the Hero Association and watched a video that showed what happened in the bar. The mechanical hero asked, "What have we finished? What are everyone's thoughts on it?" The ice adventurer said, "The masked man used his hand like a knife to take down the flaming boxer in 1 second. He is most likely taller in the Yaranga." The lazy swordsman said, "No, what killed Li Yong was not a hand. Li Yong lost the moment the masked man moved his hand." Mo Long put a piece of paper on the table and said, "This is the assessment of the injuries of the fiery boxer from the identification department. You should all take a look at it." When everyone looked at this information, they were horrified. Everyone asked in chorus, "The ability of a fiery boxer was really gone?" The mechanical hero said, "It seems so." The lazy swordsman asked, "Where did this guy who can erase other people's abilities come from?" Mo Long said, "As far as I know, only S-rank heroes have this ability." The mechanical hero asked him, "What did you think it was him?" The glacial adventurer jumped up from his seat and said, "It's impossible. The transporter is an old man with 1 foot in the grave. How could he appear now?" Mo Long said, "Kunlun Ko would not be able to deal with this matter on its own. They must report it." About this in the Association of Heroes, the lazy swordsman said, "Such a possessor of special abilities, how could he, depending on what company he was in, be used as a killing machine, and no one will tell about it?" The mechanical hero suggested to everyone that they would not be the first to report this. It would be their company secret, Liu Yun's estate. Liu Yun lay on his bed. He kept thinking about what Young-jae said to him. He thought about abilities and asked himself if he could even get one. That guy told him that this was a deal, but what does he want from him? He again took out a piece of paper with the address, but then crumpled it and said that in any case a couple more days and he would have the ability, and he doesn't care about the rest. Fan Peng asked Yangjai why he suddenly invited him to the museum, to which Yangjai replied that he wanted to learn more about the monsters so that it would be easier for him to run away if he met them. And he himself thought, I wonder if he can extract the ability of an S-rank monster. When they entered the museum, Yangjai told his friend that it seemed to him that he was not trying to find out about the monsters, but to pick up girls. Fan Peng answered him, everyone knows that only beauties come here. Yangjai pointed out the monster to him and said that he came here for it. It was an electric dinosaur monster, S-rank. It is 7 meters high and 12 meters long, a monster that appeared early on. It spewed out electricity and caused many disasters, due to which the entire city of Lugan was paralyzed. Because of him, 5 A-rank heroes, 13 B-rank heroes, and 27 C-rank heroes died. The two of them approached the statue of this monster. Yangjai told Fan Peng that he was planning to write an article about the monster invasion. He described the monster's power, how it sends electricity. Fan Peng was delighted and said, this monster is so powerful. Yangjai thought for a moment, if I could extract that fearsome ability. He reached out his hand towards the monster's statue, but the guard stopped him and asked, what are you doing? Yangjai greeted the guard and explained he was a journalist who wanted to write an article about the monsters. He then handed over his identification card. The guard examined his card and asked, what journalist? The guard continued, if you want, then write your article. But here, you can only look with your eyes, not touch with your hands. Yangjai and Fan Peng looked at each other. After that, Fan Peng distracted the guard, assuring him, it's okay, they won't touch it. Then he turned to the guard and asked, can I ask where the cutest chicks are here? Fan Peng asked. The guard asked again, what are cute chicks? Are you crazy? Fan Peng replied, oh, you know, the ones that aren't very special or rare. While Fan Peng distracted the guard, Yangjai reached out to the monster's statue to extract its abilities. The system announced, ability extraction activated. Yangjai thought, I can sense this ability, but why is it so difficult to extract? After some time, however, he still managed to do it. The system announced, extraction complete. Yangjai acquired the ability, but when he decided to view the ability's characteristics, he was shocked. The system had not provided any information about it. Later, however, the ability's characteristic nevertheless manifested itself. Yangjai was even more surprised and then annoyed. It was an E-rank ability. The name of this ability is electricity. Description, can create an electric ball. Rating, can be used to charge your phone. Yangjai was very disappointed. I just extracted an E-rank ability from an S-rank monster, he muttered. He wondered if his own ability had weakened, because the monster had been dead for a long time. Could it be that last time he was able to extract an ability from a monster because that monster was still alive? He decided to walk around the museum telling himself, it looks like I'm not getting anything useful from this museum, but he couldn't have come here in vain. He had to continue his search. In the evening, when he returned home, he sat down at the table in his room. He realized he had only received 3 low-rank abilities despite walking around the entire museum. The first was an F-rank ability. Name, cloning. Description, can be used to create a clone that lasts for a minute. Rating, can be used to turn on the light. The next ability he found was an E-rank ability. Its name was electricity. Description, can create an electric ball. Rating, can be used to charge your phone. The third ability he found was an F-rank ability. Title, human control. Description, can make any person show interest in you. Evaluation, you are not going to use it to commit unethical acts, right? After reviewing all the information about these abilities, Yangjai remarked, the power of these abilities is so weak it's frightening. Since abilities can be combined, can they also be destroyed? He decided to try it with a C-rank fire ability anyway. He tried, but it didn't work the first time, so he tried again. After some time, he succeeded. The system announced, ability destroyed. The result was, level 1, name, dark energy. Description, base substance. Rating, perfect and indestructible square. Yangjai took this dark square in his hand and wondered, what is dark energy? Could it be that abilities are made from these cubes? This means I can actually destroy abilities. Abilities can be decomposed into their most basic components. These are cubes of dark energy. Then, accordingly, can I use these dark energy cubes to enhance abilities? He decided to try it, and he succeeded. The system announced, ability improved. It has now become an E-rank ability. Title, human control. Description, you can mentally approach the target. Evaluation, the ability to deceive people. Now you can start scamming. Yangjai was delighted and asked if it had really improved. If that's true, then would he be able to create S-rank abilities himself? Screams were heard in the corridor. Someone asked them to leave and not touch him. Yangjai thought, did Liu Yuan come to Lin Naizu? Lin Naizu's father said that she was crying and crying. All she could do was cry. Her father sat on the couch in her room and smoked. He told her that they were not trying to deliberately deceive her. Yongzai entered the room. Did the father tell his daughter that if they didn't, she would gladly send them money? At this point, their mother also intervened in their conversation. She said that her brother needed money to buy a house and a car, as well as to have a wife. In total, this would amount to about $1 million. Where would they get such money from? Lin Naizu could not stand it, and asked if they had really deceived her when they said that her father was very sick and needed money urgently. Do they have any idea how desperate she was when she found out her father was ill? She worked 4 shifts from morning to night just to earn this money as soon as possible. Her father just said that they thought she'd just go as far as she could first, and he'd find ways to get the rest a bit later. The lineage of our Lin family cannot end with us, right? Lin Naizu asked if this was just a way to bring her home and sell her to a man she didn't even know. Her mother approached her daughter and said that even if this person did not receive a higher education, he was honest and kind. He would not treat her badly. At this point, Lin Naizu could not stand it at all and asked, "What's wrong with your way of thinking? Where did the 50,000 she sent them a week ago come from? It's because she was a bartender and waitstaff. She became an escort. Do they understand that?" Her parents were horrified by this information. Her father got up from the couch and asked what she had just said. "She ruined the reputation of our family." He called his daughter names and, waving his hand at her, said that he would beat her. Lin Naizu told her father to hit her because those clients hit her harder than he ever did. But Yang Jai came to her aid. He told her father that everything could be discussed because she was still their daughter. Her father was simply furious and asked, who was he to get into their family showdown? He punishes his daughter. Who was he to stop him? Yang Jai thought that her father did not regret it at all, but he looked at her mother and realized that, it seems, her mother regrets this. He decided to help a little and see if he could help Lin Naizu. He activated the ability to control a C-rank person. After that, Lin Naizu's mother hit his father and said, enough was enough. She said that his daughter even became an escort because of him. Is his heart made of stone? Her mother went to Lin Naizu and hugged her. She told her daughter that her mother had hurt her, but she was always her dearest child. Her father also remembered his mistake and sighed. He said, okay, then her brother will earn everything on his own. Lin Naizu said that everything is fine as long as people understand it in time. Besides, who in this world would not feel sorry for his own family? With these words, Yang Jai remembered his sister, who was in the hospital. The next morning at the railway station, Lin Naizu saw off her parents. She told them to be careful. On the way back, she will visit them for the new year. Her mother told her that it was good and told her to take care of herself and not do more stupid things. When her parents left, Lin Naizu thanked Yang Jai for seeing her off. And now they have to go back. Yang Jai handed her the coffee and said that he hoped her brother would understand. After all, it will be much more useful than any amount of money that she sends him. Lin Naizu winked at him and told him to come closer, as she wanted to tell him something. Yang Jai was confused and asked, what? Lin Naizu herself walked up to him and kissed him on the cheek and thanked him again for his help. At night, Yang Jai put on his suit again and was now outside. He thought that, as befits a monster corpse processing center, their guards were extremely strong. This place held a huge number of monster corpses. This could make it easier for him to gain new abilities. It seemed that he could only choose a special way to get inside. A large car drove by, and Yang Jai dived under it, grabbing onto it. But he was not alone there. There was already a girl who gestured for him to be quiet. He thought, what is it? Is this person also trying to get into the center? And she's a girl. Yang Jai decided to greet her, saying, what a coincidence. The girl, apparently not very happy, replied, what a coincidence. She was so unlucky to run into him. She then stated they would act according to the rules of the field and rely on their abilities. She introduced herself as the representative of the Fahai Kyandodo Chamber of Commerce. She then asked Yang Jai who he was. Yang Jai briefly introduced himself as Yang Jai. Kyandodo then mentioned they would soon reach the unloading area. She added, I can't get off the truck with you like that. Yang Jai told her to hold on tight. He grabbed her, and together they jumped out from under the van. Yang Jai cleared his throat and asked Kyandodo, how long are you going to hug me like this? Kyandodo blushed crimson, thoroughly embarrassed. She quickly got up and retorted, if the situation didn't call for it, who would even want to hug you? They then snuck into the monster corpse processing room. Kyandodo asked Yang Jai why he looked like he had never seen anything like it. Maybe you're new to this business? Yang Jai replied, yes, I'll be under your supervision, and called her eldest. Kyandodo told him that since he was so sincere, she couldn't stop him from following her. They entered the room and found the corpse of a huge monster. They approached it, and Kyandodo explained that the boss needed white hair from the chest of the werewolves, so he would have to carefully cut them off. She took out a small box and, turning to Yang Jai, laughed evilly. My storage bag ability can store many things in it. It's cool, right? Yang Jai thought, what a disgraceful name for a space ability. Kyandodo then said they should go to the next processing room. As she turned away, Yang Jai extracted the werewolf's ability. It was a rank D ability, Metal Transformation. Description: can change the appearance of any metal. Rating: the dream of any car service owner. Suddenly the alarm went off. They both startled. Kyandodo exclaimed, "An alarm went off! Have we been discovered?" They heard the door open, and a man in a white coat stepped out. He looked very scared and cried out, "The monster isn't dead!" The monster then declared him to be its tentacle, and dragged the man along. The man screamed for help. Yangjai and Kyandodo hid in the next room. Kyandodo grabbed Yangjai and asked, "What was that just now?" She then asked Yangjai if he could support her a little, as her legs had completely weakened. But then, one of the tentacles touched her and dragged her away. Yangjai decided to use his Force Fire ability. Kyandodo yelled at him, "Save me!" But the Force Fire ability did not help him. Yangjai ran after the monster thinking, "This thing is very fast!" As he held on to it, he noticed metal posts everywhere. Metal was everywhere. He decided to use his rank D ability, Metal Transformation, and severed one of the monster's tentacles. Kyandodo fell to the ground. Yangjai ran up to her and asked, "Are you okay?" Kyandodo freed herself from the remnants of the tentacle and said, "These tentacles have hooks, and it hurts a lot." Her t-shirt was almost completely torn. The two of them looked in the direction of the monster, and Kyandodo asked, "What kind of monster is that? How could it come back to life?" Yangjai replied that they would find out after they saw it for themselves. They got closer to the monster and saw what it looked like. It was very scary. Instead of a head, it had a huge skull with giant fangs. It also had many captives who begged for help. Yangjai and Kyandodo. When Yangjai and Kyandodo saw all this, they were horrified. They were speechless, not knowing what to say. This monster had tentacles that even popped out of its eyes. When Yangjai finally managed to get out of his stupor, he decided to use his Metal Transformation ability. Thus, he tried to defend himself against the monster's attack. Kyandodo told him that his current method was becoming less and less effective. He needed to think of some other way, but Yangjai didn't yet know exactly what to do. Kyandodo was already very frightened. She said that she would definitely die now, that they would eat her. Yangjai looked around at the hellish scene. He thought that it couldn't go on like this, but then he spotted some cans of gasoline. He told Kyandodo not to be afraid, because he had an idea. He would protect her. Kyandodo asked what kind of idea he had, but Yangjai didn't answer. Instead, he used his ability to propel the gas canisters towards the monster. After that, he used another ability to ignite the gasoline. The freed captives immediately took to their heels. Someone shouted that they had to run while they still could. Yangjai and Kyandodo did the same. A tentacle lunged at Kyandodo, but then an old man appeared and cut the tentacle. The old man was very angry. He told them, "So, you're the ones, and you're the thieves who revive monsters to attack this place." Kyandodo started arguing with the old man. She asked him, "Who are you? And why are you spouting such nonsense as soon as you appeared?" The old man put away his weapon and said, "What a disrespectful child you are. When I was in my prime, you were still drinking milk." Kyandodo was furious. She told him that he was being very disrespectful for an old man. Yangjai realized that this was indeed Duan Xuelu, the hero who defeated King Kong Berserker 10 years ago. Yangjai stepped forward, blocking Kyandodo. He turned to the old man and said, "Senior Duan." Elder Duan said, "Yang, you're more respectful. I'll deal with him when I finish dealing with this monster." Yangjai thought, he's an A-rank hero. But why is he here? In a cadaver center. Old man Duan rushed to attack the monsters, using the North Star Attack Style 1, Greedy Wolf Attack. Watching all of this, Yangjai said, "As expected from the legendary inherited power called the North Star Attack. Each one is an advanced technique. Even those with S-rank abilities would have to take a few steps back." Kyandodo was also fascinated by the technique and exclaimed, "It's so cool." But the monster grew even more enraged. It became twice as fast. But the old man didn't lose his head. He applied the Polar Star Attack Style 2, Hunger for Heaven. He then decided to finish off the monsters and use the abilities of the Water of Heaven. The monster was now defeated. After Old Man Duan dealt with the monster, he again went to Yangjai and Kyandodo. Pointing at them with the ball, Old Man Duan declared, "After I dealt with this monster, now it's time to deal with you." Yangjai thought, what intense eyes filled with determination and murderous intent. Yangjai told him that they were indeed not the ones who revived this beast. But Old Man Duan was not going to believe them. He scoffed, "This is nonsense. You have very suspicious personalities. Do you think I will believe you?" Kyandodo then asked Yangjai if he was sure he could defeat this old man. Yangjai told her that he couldn't, and asked her what she wanted. Kyandodo told him, "No, I just wanted to lend you a weapon." She handed him the weapon and, as she ran away, told him, "It's armor made from the materials of a B-rank monster. I'm sure it will give you the help you need. I'll root for you." Yangjai put on the armor and thought, "This is just crazy. It reminds me a lot of the fairy sister of the fairies." At that moment, Old Man Duan had already pounced on Yangjai, shouting, "Taste this!" But Yangjai managed to defend himself. He thought, this armor can withstand even Old Man Duan's attacks. It's It's really very powerful. They started fighting. Yang Jai used his brain reset ability. He thought that after activating it, Old Man Duan's attacks seemed to be slower, but this was not enough to defeat him. Old Man Duan attacked him again, declaring, "I've opened up." Yang Jai thought that he wouldn't be able to dodge now. That's why he used his person control ability. Old Man Duan asked Yang Jai, "You really stopped my movement?" To which Yang Jai replied, "I would be in danger if I didn't." Old Man Duan asked him, "Are these tricks really all that petty thieves are capable of?" Then Yang Jai decided to form a sword using his metal transformation ability, and they crossed blades. Yang Jai thought each of his attacks is very strong. He could use person control to stop him for a short time, preventing himself from being cut in two. An audience gathered to watch their battle. One of the onlookers remarked, "He's fighting Duan Shuelu. In that case, could this guy be a rank 6 hero of the weapon god zone?" Yang Jai overheard their conversation and thought, "Who is this weapon god anyway?" Old Man Duan then told Yang Jai, "Judging by your attacks, you are most likely not a thief." He put away his sword and told the gathered spectators to leave the processing area. "After all, I have something to say to this guy." Someone asked again, "Do we all really need to leave?" Old Man Duan grew very angry. "What?" he demanded. "Are you not going to listen to the order of the manager of this center?" The whole crowd was frightened and rushed to their heels, shouting that they were leaving. Qiandodo told Yang Jai that she would be waiting for him outside. When they were alone, Yang Jai asked Old Man Duan what he wanted to tell him. Old Man Duan told him, "I know you are not a weapon god. Your skills can't compare to those of a weapon god. Only your metal ability is similar to his, but you still have several abilities, so you can be considered a strong person. Someone like Yang Jai would never come here just to steal some fur." Therefore, Old Man Duan asked him, "Did you really come here in search of a world secret?" Yang Jai didn't understand and thought, what kind of world secret is he talking about? But he decided to try to get more information from Old Man Duan. So he decided to tell the old man, "Yes, I had come here in search of the secret of the world." Old Man Duan laughed and said, "You are young and ambitious. It would be great to tell about this to such a strong person as you. This is very good." He patted Yang Jai's shoulder and said, "The real purpose of this center is to open a one-way tunnel to the monster world." "The so-called white hole?" Yang Jai asked. "What?" Then Old Man Duan began to tell him everything. Old Man Duan said that 15 years ago, the White Hole of Lugan City was successfully opened. The Hero Association sent a small team of highly ranked heroes on a special mission to infiltrate the monster world. He was on that team himself. During this mission, many rank S heroes died. Only he and 2 other people were able to return because they risked their lives. In fact, every monster corpse processing center is built on the weakest points of the earth. As long as they continue to burn monster bodies at these weak spots, they will be able to open a white hole that leads to the monster world. Yang Jai listened to his story and asked, "What then? How about that revived monster?" Old Man Duan said, "This is something we can't say to the outside world. In fact, this is a mutation of a monster that was affected by a white hole. The people on this planet are like animals trapped by beasts. Only when they gather humanity's strongest forces will they have a chance to defeat them." After the story, the old man turned around and told Yang Jai that he could go. After all, no matter what organization he is in, they must remember, they are all part of humanity. The next day, in the office building, the woman reported to the director, "Old Man Duan Shuelu continues to do stupid things. How could he tell such things to the outside world?" The director replied, "Even if he hadn't told this, sooner or later other organizations would have known about it. It's impossible to keep the world's secrets only among ourselves." The woman then informed him that the video conference from headquarters was ready. The woman on the video call said that more than 25 people were already participating, and they had fulfilled all the necessary conditions for the consideration of the Category S case. Regarding the report from the Hero Association of Lugan City, they needed to start a conference. Should they tell the truth to the hero associations that are promoting heroes? Yang Jai visited his sister, Yang Feifei, again in the hospital. He asked her what she knew. He had been told a harsh truth today. After talking with Old Man Duan, Yang Jai left. Everyone started whispering. Someone asked what happened inside. Had he really defeated Old Man Duan Shuelu? Kai and Dudu called out to him, asking if he was okay. Yang Jai thought that he couldn't let other people know about his abilities. He said he was fine, and then asked Tiandodo to look into his eyes. Tiandodo asked, "What is it for?" Yang Jai used his ability to control a person. He told her to forget that he had used the powers of fire and metal. She should remember that he brought her this armor, and he also owed her 10,000. After that, he snapped his fingers, and she came to her senses. She ran and said it was good that he was fine. Yang Jai later told his sister the whole story, remarking that Tiandodo was very similar to her. She is cute and loves money. Maybe after he avenges his sister, he'll find a way to wake her up. That same evening, in his room, Yang Jai used his metal transformation ability again. He made himself a star absorption ring. He took the ability medicine and said that he couldn't let people know his real ability. He must use these two things to deceive Liu Yuan, and of course, the snake. He used the transformation ability and created new clothes for himself. Yang Jai said that this set of clothes would be called Snake. His abilities would be different from those of Yu Jai. He would have C-rank electricity, and he could also use fire attacks when necessary. Due to Yang Shi becoming a part of this, an organization consisting of many members would appear, and it would be called the Judges. Its main purpose was to judge those heroes who had fallen. Yang Jai came to meet Liu Yuan. When Yang Jai arrived, he saw Liu Yuan sleeping. Yang Jai approached him, told him to wake up, and kicked him. Liu Yuan jumped up and asked, "How dare you wake me up? Do you really want to fight?" But then he realized who it was and apologized to Yang Jai, saying that he was sleepy. Yang Jai thanked him for coming as he had requested. It seemed that Liu Yuan believed his words. Liu Yuan addressed Yang Jai as Yu Jai's boss and said that if he could give him the ability, he would get whatever he wanted: money, a girlfriend, and status. Otherwise, he could just hug Yang Shi and cry. Yang Jai pushed him away and said that he was not interested. Getting the ability is very easy. You just have to look into my eyes. Liu Yuan complied. Then Yang Jai used his ability to control a person. After using this ability, he told Liu Yuan to tell him what he knew about the blue pill, but the mesmerized Liu Yuan remained silent. Yang Jai thought, "What is going on here? Didn't I succeed?" He then ordered Liu Yuan to slap himself, but Liu Yuan still didn't do anything and just remained silent. Yang Jai thought he had taken the initiative in vain. Could it be that Liu Yuan already has an ability? Perhaps a higher C-rank ability that renders a person's control ineffective. Yang Jai then decided to use his mental attack ability. He thought he hadn't attacked Liu Yuan the last time they were at the bar. However, it didn't look like Liu Yuan had any ability. Still, Yang Jai decided he should try. He managed to extract Liu Yuan's ability. Yang Jai was very surprised. "What the hell?" he exclaimed. "Does he really have an ability?" Liu Yuan had an A-rank ability, named Resurrection. Description: only once after death can a person with this ability be reborn and go back one day. Grade: A-rank ability. However, it can only be used after death. How stupid is that? Yang Jai couldn't be more surprised. He wondered if this guy actually had an A-rank ability. This ability would undoubtedly turn the tide of events. Speaking to Liu Yuan, who was still passed out, Yang Jai told him that he would be kind to him after he took his ability. He thought that now he would put a pearl into Liu Yuan, which he had received at the corpse processing center. After he did so, he commanded Liu Yuan to wake up. Liu Yuan then jumped up and asked Yang Jai to give him the ability. But then it dawned on Liu Yuan and he asked, "What? When did I manage to fall asleep?" Yang Jai told him that it was fine. He was just too tired. He then asked Liu Yuan if he saw this ring. Liu Yuan looked at the ring in Yang Jai's hand and said, "Yes." Yang Jai said that this star absorption ring, which was made by the organization, could be used to steal ability factors from others. Liu Yuan was shocked and asked, "It can really do that? What's next?" Yang Jai explained that the organization uses special methods to turn these ability factors into a medicine that can empower ordinary people. He then showed him a bottle filled with it. After that, Yang Jai threw the bottle into Liu Yuan's hands. Liu Yuan asked, "What's so special about it? Are you trying to deceive me, Yang Jai?" To which Yang Jai replied, "Drink it, then you'll know if it's true or not." Liu Yuan began to examine the bottle and thought, could it be poison? But if Yang Jai wanted to kill him, he wouldn't drag it out until today. So Liu Yuan made up his mind and drank the contents of the bottle. Yang Jai chuckled and told Liu Yuan that he would soon know the power of the ability. Liu Yuan's appearance began to change, and he exclaimed, "My whole body is on fire!" Yang Jai looked at him and thought, it really has nothing to do with medicine. It is I who controls the pearl of ability at a distance. For a moment, Liu Yuan turned into a werewolf. He asked, "What is this?" Yang Jai answered him, "This is the ability to transform," and asked him what he thought about it. Liu Yuan asked, "Is this really an ability? My brother can turn into a dragon. Am I weaker or stronger than him?" To which Yang Jai replied that his brother had an E-rank ability, while Liu Yuan only had an F-rank. Liu Yuan was furious. "An E-rank?" he asked. "But between F-rank and E-rank, there's a difference of 3 ranks. Yang Jai cleared his throat. He told Liu Yuan not to worry, as he had just joined the organization, so they could only give him F-rank medicine. Liu Yuan made a pitiful expression and began to choke back tears. Seeing his expression, Yang Jai thought, this Liu Yuan has turned into a werewolf. But why is he so stupid and cute like a husky? Yang Jai told him that since they would have to work together, he changed it to an E rank for him. After listening to Yang Jai, Liu Yuan thought that it really followed from this, that they had other abilities in the organization. But then, didn't this mean that one day he himself would become stronger than his father? Liu Yuan joyfully hugged Yang Jai again, calling him father. He asked him if he could change it to an A rank for him. Yang Jai, trying to fight off Liu Yuan's strong hands, asked, "Who are you calling your father?" Liu Yuan told him that he would then call him his godfather. He had never before met a man who was so kind to him. Yang Jai told him that he didn't have one. Even if Liu Yuan called him godfather, his organization had its own rules. Liu Yuan could only earn his place once he made enough achievements. Liu Yuan accepted this, saying that the godfather arrangement was good. He then asked what kind of organization they were. Yang Jai asked him to listen carefully. He explained that their organization was called the Judges. It was created by a single powerful man, and under the boss were 12 zodiac leaders. Yang Jai himself was the rooster of the 12 zodiacs. Liu Yuan asked if someone as powerful as his godfather was merely a leader. How powerful, then, was the boss? Yang Jai told him not to try to guess it. After all, the boss was not someone who often showed his face. He was very mysterious. Liu Yuan then asked Yang Jai how he could quickly earn his achievements. Yang Jai told him that, of course, achievements were earned by completing tasks given by the organization. Yang Jai currently had a task for him. Liu Yuan would use his identity as the young master of the Kunlun company to search for information about the so-called blue pill. Liu Yuan asked, "What kind of blue pill is this?" Yang Jai said that it seemed to be a pill that could increase one's strength. He had come to Lugan for the same reason, to learn about the forces behind this thing. Liu Yuan's eyes lit up as he asked if this pill could really increase someone's strength. What was this wonderful thing? To which Yang Jai replied that Liu Yuan should not harbor evil ideas. There was already one hero who used it and accidentally harmed an innocent person. Liu Yuan made it clear that he understood. Liu Yuan grabbed Yang Jai's shoulders and asked who had harmed an innocent person. Yang Jai said that it was an A-rank hero of their company named Glacial Adventurer. Liu Yuan was very surprised and asked, "Was it Canyon?" But he always acted so cool. In fact, he was a drug addict. Yang Jai told him that when Liu Yuan found useful information, they would meet there again, and then he would give Liu Yuan a D-rank ability. Liu Yuan said Yang Jai was already heading towards the exit when he paused, as if he had forgotten to tell Liu Yuan something. The effect of the medicine only lasts a week. Liu Yuan's time was very limited. He had to complete this task within a week. Liu Yuan was horrified and asked. The next day, Yang Jai was walking around the city. He noticed some kind of announcement and decided to come closer to see it. It was written that he was wanted. They were looking for Uncle Yu Jai. He was described as being alone, in a black cloak with a white mask on his face. If anyone had any clues, they should call Tan Dodo. Her phone number was provided. Yang Jai was so shocked by this information that he even spat on the announcement. The man in the booth called him names and asked what he was doing. Yang Jai apologized to him. Yang Jai took the ad and walked along the road, muttering that he really didn't think that girl had something like that up her sleeve. He noticed a group of people coming around the corner. Looking closer, he saw Tan Dodo among them and wondered if it wasn't her. But what had happened to her? He decided to follow and eavesdrop. A group of 3 surrounded Tan Dodo. She asked them, "Who are you?" A pierced man told her that she had better listen to them and give the young master's blade back. Tan Dodo said she had no idea what they were talking about. And what was a blade? She didn't even have one with her. The masked man could not stand it and told her to stop this performance. She had played with their young master because he was too naive, using false jewels in exchange for his blade. The man with the piercing told her that she had better give it up if she still wanted to live. Yang Jai eavesdropped on them. He thought, is it really Muramasa? It's an S-rank legendary weapon. Is it really in Tan Dodo's possession? Tan Dodo at this time thought, does that mean this blade is actually something good? If so, she took out her little box and, starting to play her next performance, told them, "What young master? I've never heard of anyone like that. You must have been mistaken." Yang Jai, listening to her, thought what a poor argument this was. Anyone can deduce once they hear her that this greedy girl got the blade, but does not want to give it back. The girl standing with those 2 guys said there was no need for this chatter. They should already start to act. After that, the pierced man used the Triple Knives Army-style ability, and the masked man used the Doppelganger Shadow-style ability. Seeing this, Yang Jai asked, "Are these 2 hereditary-type abilities, and are they both above C rank?" Kendodo said she was not the type to be easily intimidated. She took out a weapon from her backpack, a Kamaitachi. Then she threw it away. As she left, Kendodo laughed, declaring there was no rule that could force her to return things once she had received them. Meanwhile, the girl who used the A-rank Snow Woman ability remained. Kendodo, who wanted to get out of there already, asked why it snowed all of a sudden. At this time, Yang Jai used his Change Clothes ability. The girl was already chasing Kendo Do, using her Snow Typhoon ability. Yang Jai, very frightened for Kendo Do, called out her name. Reporters had already arrived at the scene. One male reporter announced that a fight was currently underway on Changting Street. If there is at least one hero nearby, they should come to the rescue as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Kendo Do was caught in the girl's Snow Typhoon. She fell hard, exclaiming that it hurt a lot. The girl approached her and asked if she would now return what did not originally belong to her. But Kendo Do, very brave, replied, "That's fine. Then you can tell me what kind of blade you lost, silver or gold." This greatly angered the girl. Using her ability, she pinned Kendo Do to the ground and advised her to be more honest. "Otherwise, I will tear your frozen legs into small pieces." But Kendo Do, very serious, told the girl that she would never fall for her tricks. She had obtained this blade thanks to her skills. She would never throw it away just like that. Instead, she threw the blade into Yang Jai's hands, telling him, "This blade is now yours, and you get it for free." Yang Jai caught the blade and said, "Kendo Do, that's just like you," as expected. He thanked her for the blade, realizing she had already noticed him. But what the hell? No one would want such a worn-out blade, even if Kendo Do offered money. Kendo Do became embarrassed, admitting she hadn't even thought they would pursue her because of that blade. Meanwhile, the girl shouted that these two people were allies, then commanded her men to grab Yang Jai. Yang Jai was surrounded by 4 men. One of them attacked Yang Jai, calling him names and telling him to taste this. At that moment, Yang Jai realized the blade he held was absorbing his mental power. "Is my body moving on its own?" he wondered. Without putting in any effort, he cut the man in half. He himself was very shocked, asking, "What the hell is going on here?" Behind him, the pierced man pounced on Yang Jai, but Yang Jai neutralized him with the blade. The pierced man fell to his knees, pleading with his teacher to save him. Yang Jai extracted the pierced man's ability, which was C rank. The ability was named 3 Styles of Blade, Sun, and Moon. Its description stated, 3 blade styles allow you to activate the power of the blade in order to fend off enemies. Yang Jai was already shaking with weakness. He realized this blade was taking too much of his mental strength. He couldn't take it anymore. Meanwhile, behind him, the girl turned her ability on him. He thought it looked like he would have to use his rebirth ability today. Then, someone came to their rescue, and the whole sky lit up with green. People were very surprised, asking, "What is it?" Yang Jai asked, "Is this the light of despair?" Kendo Do was also very surprised, asking, "Is this really the lazy swordsman?" Along with the lazy swordsman came the hero Mo Long. Mo Long told the girl that they could forgive her Heyday group for being arbitrary in the 6th region. "But were you brave enough to sow rebellion in the 1st region?" The girl told him they were here to return what originally belonged to them, claiming they were abusing their powers. Kendo Do pointed her finger at the girl and told them to stop. After all, it was her master who gave her the blade, and it was completely hers. The girl thought that 2 high-rank heroes had arrived, and she had no chance of winning. First of all, she had to ensure her own safety. Cayenne Dodo tensed, sensing the girl was up to something, but the girl showed no signs of defeat. She continued to use her freezing ability. The girl turned to the heroes and stated that even if they killed her people, she would leave the city of Lugam and spare her own life, provided they returned what originally belonged to them. Mo Long chuckled, telling the girl that no one had said she could leave the city of Lugam. He added, "Do you really think the 1st region is a place where you can just come and go at your own will?" He then turned to the lazy swordsman, indicating that the girl was his responsibility, while he himself would go and test Yu Jai's abilities. The lazy swordsman warned him that the company intended to recruit Yu Jai, so he shouldn't overdo it. Mo Long had already moved to attack Yu Jai, stating that he was merely helping to resolve the issues between them. Yu Jai decided to defend himself with his blade, but when Mo Long struck the blade, Yu Jai was sent flying a great distance. Kian Dodo was very worried about Yu Jai. Mo Long then asked, "Is that really all you've got?" The girl exclaimed that if this continued, she might die. She then activated her Absolute Zero ability. Then the lazy swordsman unleashed his Blade of Strong Wind ability. He repelled all of the girl's attacks and even struck her, but the lazy swordsman claimed he hadn't actually hit her. Cayenne Dodo retorted, "That's not true. Didn't she just crash down?" The lazy swordsman informed her that it was merely an illusion. "She's escaped," he stated, "but she must still be somewhere nearby." However, they then noticed that Yu Jai's brother was also missing. Yang Jai himself hid behind the corner of the building, cursing the damn blade. It had left his body without a drop of strength. How would he cope with this threat now? But wait a minute. If this was a weapon from a monster, would he be able to extract an ability from it? He decided to try. The system announced that an ability extraction had occurred. Yang Jai also received 2,500 units of dark energy. Yang Jai then transformed the blade into black cubes. He realized that even though he couldn't extract the pearl of ability, he had gained a bunch of dark energy cubes. The blade's materials must have come from an S-rank monster. What kind of ability did he need to improve to be able to go against the dragon? He took the ability sphere, and the system sent sent him a message. Evaluation of this ability. D rank abilities. Ability name, metal transformation. Yongjai decided to try another. He then acquired an A rank ability. Ability name, metal control. Description: it is possible to control all metals within a radius of 1,000 meters. The maximum weight of the controlled metal is 100,000 tons. Ability assessment: the person who possesses this ability is probably now an Iron Man. The girl felt it too. Yongjai realized he could feel every object made of concrete and metal. He could feel cars, planes, and buildings. Finally, he had the opportunity to fight someone properly. Just then, the girl decided to attack him from behind, but Yongjai sensed it and repelled her attack. The girl, however, wasn't going to give up so quickly. She continued to attack Yongjai. Yongjai repelled all her attacks. The girl was horrified, asking, "How is this even possible?" Yongjai grabbed her. The girl commanded him to let her go immediately. Yongjai told her not to move, adding that he would be more gentle when it came to girls. The girl asked him what he intended to do, but Yongjai didn't answer her. Instead, he extracted her ability. It was an A rank ability. The name of this ability is Snow Woman. This ability summons a snow woman to help in battles. A person can also choose to merge with the snow woman, allowing her to enter their body. Yongjai thought it was just an elementary ability, but he had no idea that it was a summoning type. This is literally the main dream of all men. The girl assumed her true form and fell to the ground. NCI picked her up. Then the lazy swordsman and Mo Long appeared from around the corner. Mo Long asked the lazy swordsman if that was really the passerby he had knocked down. The lazy swordsman wondered if his aura had changed. Yongjai put the girl down and said that she was not a passerby. She was a snow woman, but he had already dealt with her. Mo Long was furious. He asked Yongjai if he was really mocking him. How can such trash? How can he defeat a snow woman? To which Yongjai calmly replied that they could fight him to make sure. He asked them which of them would be the first to attack him, or would they both attack him? Meanwhile, a male reporter went live. He asked if he hadn't misheard. This guy wants to go up against two, despite the fact that they are both A-rank heroes? Why? Their evil dragon is able to take down this guy with just one finger. But does he look like he's bluffing? One of the people who watched this report said that he had already become a fan of that guy in the black robe. Someone else said that this guy is very intimidating. The male reporter was very enthusiastic. He asked, "What does it mean? Is there really going to be an exciting 1 versus 2 scene?" Mo Long said that despite the audience trying to inflame this topic, he would not team up with the lazy swordsman in order to defeat him. After all, A-rank heroes would lose their dignity. Yongjai said, "What a pity. After all, a 1 against 2 battle would be very exciting." Mo Long told the lazy swordsman that in order to defeat an opponent, you need to understand them, but the lazy swordsman didn't listen and said he already knew. Mo Long noticed the ring on Yongjai's hand and said it was very strange. Most likely the secret of the missing ability might be related to this particular item. They should be as careful as possible. The lazy swordsman told his partner not to worry. He just wants to see how he defeated the snow woman. The lazy swordsman stepped forward and told Yongjai that if he won, the evil dragon would naturally take him on. But Yongjai didn't answer him. Then the lazy swordsman attacked him, but Yongjai repelled his attack. After that, Yongjai very quickly moved behind the lazy swordsman. From there, he attacked, but the lazy swordsman was also very fast and stopped his attack with his sword. Yongjai almost hit the lazy swordsman, but the lazy swordsman noticed Yongjai's ability and asked if he was really controlling his sword. Yes, he was dreaming. After which, the lazy swordsman hit Yongjai, and Yongjai bounced off him. Yongjai thought that the lazy swordsman's sword was made of monster materials. They are considered metal. Apart from this sword, oddly enough, there are no other items on his body. At this rate, Yongjai will lose in any confrontation. But what should he do now? Yongjai needs to upgrade another ability to A rank. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to defeat the lazy swordsman. And that's not to mention that there's still the evil dragon looking at them menacingly. Yongjai took 2 abilities. One of them was the E rank ability of the Snow Woman, and the other was the E rank ability of Human Control. He mixed them, resulting in a new E rank ability, Control of Puppets. The ability description states it can perform illusory interference on E rank targets and brainwash targets below B rank. It also allows the user to activate their power for 10 years and enter the body of a puppet for 2 hours daily. Currently, the number of puppets is 0 out of 3. Ability score. This was an extremely shameless ability. After learning it, Yongjai declared he would not use it for shameful acts. Just then, the lazy swordsman shouted, asking what he was doing as they were still fighting. Yongjai told him not to be so impatient. He then used his new ability, and the lazy swordsman saw a woman who asked if he truly clearly intended to point his sword at his sister. The lazy swordsman fell into a stupor. After Yongjai dispelled the illusion, the lazy swordsman asked, "Are those really mental abilities? Yongjai, do you truly have a double ability?" Yongjai told the lazy swordsman he had found out too late. He hadn't expected a lazy swordsman who wields the intent of a storm ball to have such a weakness. Furious, the lazy swordsman pounced on Yongjai, exclaiming, "Yes, I knew!" Was it his late sister? He couldn't do it. The lazy swordsman was already exhausted. Seeing this, the onlookers were shocked. They were very scared. Someone shouted for him to get up, while another man declared, "It's over!" The lazy swordsman lost, and now they could only hope the evil dragon would be able to defeat him. Another man remarked that Yongjai had defeated the lazy swordsman so quickly he almost became a fan. The live broadcast host reported that the lazy swordsman was sitting stunned on the ground. But could the man in black use a mental attack? The lazy swordsman had been on alert against a metal ability, but he hadn't expected his opponent to hide a mental ability. Both of the lazy swordsman's hands were shaking. It seemed victory was already a foregone conclusion. Jandudu, standing next to a reporter, told Yongjai he was doing well. She had thought the lazy swordsman would kill him, but if he died, who would return her 10,000? Yongjai thought, is someone really complaining about me? Molong then approached the lazy swordsman and told him he had done a very good job. He made Yongjai use his last resort. Now the lazy swordsman should leave everything to him. The lazy swordsman warned Molong not to look him in the eye. If he did, the person he cared about most would appear before his eyes. Molong then went to fight Yongjai. Seeing him, Yongjai asked, "Has the evil dragon himself finally appeared?" The evil dragon told Yongjai that, in his opinion, this battle was of great importance, and offered him a bet. Yongjai replied that it would be very interesting to know what he would wager. The evil dragon proposed that if he lost, he would reveal the secret of this ring. Yongjai responded, "Of course you should come and pick it up yourself, if of course you can do it." He then thought, fortunately the evil dragon isn't stupid. He's showing off here just so everyone will pay attention to the star absorption ring. The evil dragon didn't wait, immediately rushing to attack Yongjai. Yongjai was surprised, thinking, what kind of speed is this? An evil dragon is even faster than a lazy swordsman, but Yongjai managed to bypass the evil dragon's attack. However, the evil dragon still managed to hit him. The male reporter continued his live broadcast, stating that the man in black's mental ability couldn't keep up with the evil dragon's speed. The evil dragon then asked Yongjai, "Is it really a double ability? This is hardly acceptable." Yongjai stood up after being hit by the evil dragon. He cleared his throat, thinking, this guy has very high speed and a strong attack, and the evil dragon's scales on his body provide a high level of protection. An evil dragon can also spit fire. It's so illogical. The evil dragon told Yongjai, "That wasn't bad. You have pretty strong bones." But Yongjai didn't answer him. Instead, he used his puppet control ability. The evil dragon fell into this trap. He saw his brother, Luke Yuan, who was telling him it was very painful and that he had to save him. The evil dragon grabbed his head and yelled at Yongjai, "How dare you turn into my adored brother? I'm sick of you." After that, the evil dragon transformed into an earthen dragon of black flame. Yongjai was very surprised and asked, "Has the illusion been destroyed?" This angered the dragon even more. Meanwhile, the reporter continued his live broadcast, exclaiming, "Today, we unexpectedly witnessed the second phase of the evil dragon's transformation. This reporter has no choice but to admire this masked man. After all, he actually forced the evil dragon to this point." Meanwhile, the evil dragon attacked Yongjai, but Yongjai tried to stop him. Then the evil dragon asked him, "Do you really think you can stop me with these metal spikes?" Yongjai chuckled and asked the evil dragon, "Have you really become a drill? Then try to catch up with me." Yongjai then rose up using his ability. The evil dragon asked him, "Do you really think you can escape from me by flying?" The evil dragon himself then rose into the sky, but Yongjai didn't plan to give up so easily either. He managed to grab the evil dragon and tie him up with his iron bars. The evil dragon was very shocked at first, but he gathered his thoughts and asked Yongjai, "Have you already forgotten about my black flame?" Malekov, the reporter, continuing his live broadcast, commented, "The evil dragon's black flame has melted metal before. Surely these metals won't last long this time." Jai and Dodo slapped the reporter for this. They declared, "Brother Yujai isn't just strong, his tactics and strategies are also outstanding. He wouldn't do something useless." But everything was not playing in the evil dragon's favor. He tried to melt the bars, but he didn't succeed. He asked, "I can't melt it down?" Yongjai, meanwhile, thought, this is a fire-resistant shield of rank B. It won't melt if he burns it only once. Yongjai then began to attract metal from everywhere. The evil dragon was very shocked and exclaimed, "It's the same." But Yongjai interrupted him, stating, "This is metal control." Yongjai then called out to the evil dragon, "Fall, Titan's fist." People were terrified and tried to escape. The evil dragon was also scared and asked, "Will I really die like this?" After that, Yongjai brought down all the metal he had collected. Everyone started running away from the area. Male Cough, the reporter, said, "Now that the dust has finally settled, we need to see if the evil dragon has survived or not." People crowded around the metal fragments and began to speculate. One person said, "Most likely the evil dragon is already dead." Another added, "It's simply impossible to survive in such a situation." Then someone noticed a fiery butterfly in the sky and asked, "What is that? Is it really not a cute fiery butterfly?" Meanwhile, the fiery butterfly, crying, kept looking for the evil dragon, asking, "Where is he?" The mechanical hero told the fiery butterfly to move away. The mechanical hero scanned the metal pile. People noticed the mechanical hero and exclaimed, "Look! It's an A-rank mechanical hero! Thank goodness he's here!" But still, the lazy swordsman of the dragon fracture managed to survive. The lazy swordsman said he was still alive, but only thanks to the Psy wall. He sincerely regretted making the company lose face, to which the mechanical hero told him, "Everything's fine as long as you're alive." The fiery butterfly peeked out from behind the mechanical hero and asked, "Do you need help?" The lazy swordsman looked at the evil dragon and said, "Then I'll have to bother you with him." Meanwhile, Yongjai had already reached home and was healing his wounds. He sprayed himself with some medicine and muttered, "It hurts so much. That evil dragon knows no mercy." The meeting with the snow woman and the evil dragon last time was quite expected. His main goal is to focus on the blue pill. Currently, there are only 2 leads. One lead is a glacial adventurer, a case Yangzai handed over to Liu Yuan. The second clue is a hero of high rank, the hero of spicy and sour noodles. This hero is going to hold a fan meeting in the near future. Yangzai should definitely go take a look. In the future, he will attract even more danger. He can no longer share an apartment with other people. He must prevent their involvement. Just then, Lin Naizu came into the apartment, announcing that she was finally home. Since he didn't expect to meet her at this time, he was very scared. Lin Naizu also didn't expect to see him there, and asked what he was doing in the living room. Yongzai said nothing. His foot had hit the corner of the table, so he was just rubbing it with medicine. She came back just in time. He wanted to tell everyone that he was moving out. All 3 girls gathered and asked him if he was really moving out. Yongzai explained that being a man, it wasn't very convenient for him to live with them. He hadn't had any money before, but now he'd gotten a raise and his salary had increased, so he decided to move out. Xiaowei pointed at Lin Naizu and asked Yongzai, "What about Lin Naizu?" Yongzai covered his face with his hands and asked, "What about Lin Naizu?" He had nothing to do with her. Xiaowei told him that in that case, they wouldn't stop him, and since they already knew each other's contact numbers, then he shouldn't forget to call them when he was free. Yongzai said yes. Then he would treat them to a good meal, let them think that this was their farewell dinner. Lin Naizu was apparently very angry with him and went to her room. She slammed the door very hard. Yongzai thought, did he say something wrong? Yongzai said that if they were going to go out to eat, it was better to go all together. Xiaowei asked Yongzai, "After all, Lin Naizu is so beautiful and so kind to him. Why doesn't she deserve to be with him? Why does he communicate with her like that?" Yongzai wanted to answer her something, but the girls did not listen to him and turned to their rooms. Xiaowei added that they would go and take a nap. They would have lunch after Yongzai settled everything with Lin Naizu. When they left, Yongzai said that saying he didn't like Lin Naizu would be a lie, but he really didn't want to drag innocent people into danger. After that, he decided and knocked on her door. Lin Naizu said that the door wasn't locked. He could enter. Yongzai stepped inside and saw the girl on the bed. He asked her for forgiveness. Lin Naizu asked him why he was apologizing. Didn't he say he had nothing in common with her? Yongzai told her that she knew that wasn't what he meant. Lin Naizu couldn't stand it and started screaming. She asked Yongzai if he didn't like her past, right? Yongzai said no. She misunderstood everything. Then Lin Naizu asked him, why didn't he like her? Is she ugly? Yongzai said no and asked Lin Naizu to calm down. He asked her, can't they just stay friends? Lin Naizu asked, what friends? Yongzai just had to ask himself, did he like her or not? Yongzai thought that most of Lin Naizu's kindness towards him came from insecurity, because her relationship with her family was being destroyed. She just wanted to put her heart into another kind of attachment, and since he didn't answer her, she naturally took it negatively. Believing that her past and her life experience were what made people look up to her, she looked like a fragile porcelain doll that could break even at the touch of someone who cared about her. How could he possibly hurt her? Yongzai said that he actually was, but Lin Naizu interrupted him. Maybe he was speaking correctly, she admitted. She was too impatient and thought that after the kiss, both of them had already found each other in their hearts. But even if it wasn't the time yet, she didn't want them to become strangers. She then asked him if he could become her first official boyfriend. Yongzai exhaled and said, well, I promise it. The glacier adventurer was already very drunk and was in Liu Yuan's apartment. Liu Yuan watched him from the doorway and thought that if it wasn't for the Godfather's assignment, he wouldn't have spent so much money to invite him here to frolic. When the glacier adventurer fell asleep, Liu Yuan decided to search him, but when he found a strange box, the glacier adventurer woke up and asked him what he was doing. Liu Yuan was sweating with fear and said he was just looking for a light. Did you lose your lighter? The glacier adventurer gave him a lighter and asked where the girls had gone. Liu Yuan said the girls were waiting and asked the glacier adventurer which one of them he liked tonight, and he would ask her to take a bath with him. The glacier adventurer said, the one who wears a jumpsuit. Later that evening, when Liu Yuan invited the girl the glacier adventurer liked and they went to the bathroom, he began to search the glacier adventurer. He rummaged through his things, muttering, where did he put this thing? But soon he found it and said, here it is. He opened the box, took out a cube, and wondered if it was really sugar, but it didn't smell like gum. It smelled good, but weird. He wanted to eat it so much. But still, he overcame this desire. There was nothing in this thing, he thought. Was it really a blue pill? Then there were screams from the bathtub. Liu Yuan looked back at the doors. It scared him a lot, he thought. Was the glacier adventurer so raging in there? He took the blue pill, deciding he would steal one of the hidden ones. Then he went to the bathroom and knocked on the door. Liu Yuan asked the glacier adventurer, what's going on? Are you okay? The glacier adventurer furiously opened the door. Liu Yuan looked past him at the girl and asked, is this girl okay? The glacier adventurer quickly jumped out of the tub and began to pack his things. He said the girl was dead. Liu Yuan told the glacier adventurer that everything would be fine. You should go first, he urged. I'll ask the people from the company to sort it out. The glacier adventurer nodded. When the glacier adventurer left, Liu Yuan exhaled. He exhaled, thinking, it scared me so much to death. If the glacier adventurer found out, I would have died. The glacier adventurer, sitting in his car, was very angry. He threw down the box of blue pills and cursed. How many times has it already been? Ever since I started taking this remedy, I can't control my strength at all. This is very bad. I need to calm down. He then noticed the pills and wondered why one was missing. But then he gave up on it, thinking, there are only a few days left until the next batch anyway. It doesn't matter if I lose this one or get it. Fan Peng asked Yongzai if he was crazy. Any other normal guy wouldn't even think about moving out of this apartment, Fan Peng added. Yongzai told him that these were just illusions. He then asked his friend if he knew how uncomfortable it was to live with a bunch of girls. Fan Peng countered that this alleged inconvenience was the beauty of it. Yongzai told his friend that sometimes he becomes a real pervert. When they arrived at their destination, Fan Peng asked his friend, where did you get the money to rent such a nice apartment? To which Yongzai replied that his adopted son had given it to him. Fan Peng said it was nonsense. When did you manage to adopt a son? Yongzai probably just won the lottery. Now you have to treat your friend somehow. Yongzai said that he was actually telling him the truth, but he didn't believe him. When he finally unloaded all his things, Yongzai lay down on his new bed. He said that he was so full, but at least now he was finally alone, although a little lonely. By the way, after the fight with the evil dragon, Yongzai hadn't used his summoning ability yet. This was the ability of the Snow Woman. Even though he had spent some of the dark energy to improve the puppet's control ability, the remaining energy was still a C-rank ability. Now Yongzai would see what kind of scary sister she was. He told the Snow Woman to appear, but when he saw who it was, he was shocked. Wait a minute, why is she a loli? Yongzai was freezing in his new apartment. The little girl, calling him master, asked Yongzai if he was okay, but Yongzai shouted at her not to come any closer. Then the girl told him not to worry. After all, snow won't hurt you, but the temperature might be a little low. Yongzai asked, what is snow? She said, it's a little cold in here. But then something dawned on him, and he used his flaming fist ability. Snow said, it's fire! Then she asked her master if she could come closer to him. Yongzai asked her, aren't you afraid of fire? Snow said, no, I like warmth. She approached the fire and said, it's so warm. The owner is so cool. Yongzai, watching the little girl, thought that fortunately, the cold air Snow created was only a passive effect. Otherwise, if the ability was from a higher rank, his flaming fist wouldn't be able to withstand the cold air. Snow began to fall asleep and said, the owner is also warm. She fell asleep right on his leg. Yongzai pulled away from her a little and said, she's a little brat, but still, he didn't drive her away. So be it, he thought, since she's so cute. He covered himself and her with a blanket and said, only this time. There will be no next time. The day of the fan meeting with the hero of spicy and sour noodles had come. A huge queue had formed. Everyone shouted, we all love the superhero of spicy kitty noodles. Yongzai was also there with his sign. He thought that today he was masquerading as an ardent fan in order to get closer to the superhero of spicy and sour noodles. But the crowd was huge. Someone stepped on his foot and started pulling his hair. A plump woman came on stage and announced, the superhero of spicy and sour noodles is ready. She then asked the audience, are you ready? Everyone shouted in unison, we're ready. But the woman asked them to shout louder. Then everyone started shouting, we love the superhero of spicy and sour noodles. Then the superhero of spicy and sour noodles appeared and told them, you are safe now. After all dangers will be crushed by my iron fist. At that moment, someone pushed Yongzai. He was pushed into the first rows where he inadvertently fell. But the superhero of spicy and sour noodles managed to catch him. The superhero told Yongjai, "Be attentive, even though I caught you this time." Yongjai's eyes sparkled. He apologized and said that he had been careless. After the superhero spicy and sour noodles put him on the ground, Yongjai thanked him again and introduced himself as Yong 11. They shook hands. The superhero spicy and sour noodles said it was nice to meet him. The fans were delighted, shouting that their superhero was so adored. The fans were very jealous of Yongjai. He didn't just shake hands with the superhero spicy and sour noodles, he had a plan. After shaking his hand, Yongjai told the superhero spicy and sour noodles, "Hello, I'm your fan." The woman organizing the fan meeting then declared, "This damn fan meeting is finally over." She told her boss he had done a great job. The boss replied, "Of course, but it was a little difficult. Shaking hands with so many people is messy and exhausting. You should let me disinfect my hands as soon as possible." He got into the car and told her to drive, adding, "While I take a nap in the car, I still have to participate in another show in the evening." The woman replied, "Fine," and asked if his whole body could stand the strain. The boss, slamming the car door, declared, "I have to do everything, even if it's very difficult. Also, don't forget to clear my schedule for next weekend, because I want to celebrate my daughter's birthday." The woman said she understood and departed. Left alone in the car, the boss muttered, "The debt I owe is like a bottomless pit. I have to deposit another wad of money to completely close this hole. Was it worth going to all these gambling games again? But no, I have to gamble more." Then Yongjai appeared behind him and asked, "Isn't it exhausting to live like this?" The man turned around and exclaimed, "You're the same Yongjai who fought the evil dragon and the others. But how did you get here?" Yongjai mentally answered his question. "There's a pearl of ability in your body, of course. I could know its location, but don't be afraid. I'm just here to ask you a few questions." The man thought, he could single-handedly defeat heroes like the evil dragon and the lazy swordsman. I myself have no chance of winning. I just have to say whatever he wants to know. The man then said, "Even though I, the evil dragon, and the others belong to the same company, that doesn't mean we have the same positions." He asked Yongjai for forgiveness and told him not to take offense. Yongjai told him, "You've misunderstood everything. Perhaps you're the only one who knows about this problem. You just have to look me in the eye first." When the man did this, Yongjai used his puppet control ability. Yongjai entered the inner world of the superhero spicy and sour noodles. Once there, he asked, "Is this really the inner world of the superhero spicy and sour noodles?" He looked around and saw various scenes from life. He realized it was all his past. But where are the memories of the blue pill? He wondered. Then he found a strange frame and saw a man whose face was not visible, holding a blue pill. But who is this person? He approached this frame and started watching. The mysterious man handed a blue pill to the man sitting in the car and said, "You could reach the top of your career. You will pay off your debts. Finally, you will return to your family." The man in the car asked, "Is that really true? Then you should give this pill to me." But the mysterious man replied he wanted to exchange it for information. The man asked, "What other information?" The mysterious man said, "For example, about the secrets of some heroes." The man then began to tell him everything. He said the dog hero was secretly playing with, and this crazy hero, Topora, secretly holds children captive. Yongjai asked, "Is that scandalous information about the one I need? Is it possible to get a blue pill for information? Are there any other deals?" Yongjai started leafing through his memories, wondering if they had really met each other more than once. There had been a second, a third, and even a fourth meeting. At the next meeting, the mysterious man asked the man sitting in the car if he had recently heard that a new owner of the UG ability had appeared. The man said yes. He not only bullied the chairman's son, but also defeated the evil dragon with a lazy swordsman. The mysterious man then asked him if he had any information related to the UG user's ability. The mysterious man insisted that the man tell him everything about this UG user. The man was very excited and said that he only knew that the UG user seemed to be able to erase the abilities of others. But he never showed his face in public. That's why I didn't know what he looked like. The mysterious man asked, "What kind of person is he? You don't know his face and yet he can erase abilities? That is very interesting." The mysterious man threw the pills into the hands of the man. As he left, he instructed the man to collect all information about the UG user by his daughter's birthday next week, and then to bring it to him. The man agreed. After reviewing these memories, Yongjai concluded that the blue pills seemed to be used to exploit the weaknesses of many ability holders, and then to corrupt and control them. It turns out they are secretly controlling so many heroes. What is their true purpose? After some time, the man in the car woke up, uttering the words, "A real hero knows how to forgive." He turned around, didn't see Yang Jai in the back seat, and asked, "Where did he go?" By then, it was already evening. Liu Yun waited for Yang Jai, asking, "Why hasn't Godfather come yet? Mosquitoes are biting me to death right now." Then Yang Jai appeared behind him and asked, "What are you talking about?" Liu Yun was overjoyed and ran to him, exclaiming, "Godfather has finally come! I've been waiting for you for so long!" Liu Yun took out a box of blue pills and told his godfather, "I made a huge effort and finally got these from a glacier adventurer." Yang Jai looked at the blue pills, thinking, the colors and qualities are identical to the ones the superhero Spicy and Sour Noodles possesses. It should be the same pill. Liu Yun then told him that it was because of this pill that the glacier adventurer had accidentally killed someone. He asked if the side effects of this blue pill were really so terrible. Yang Jai told him, "In the pursuit of power and fame, these depraved heroes are capable of anything. Will they be afraid of these side effects?" Liu Yun shouted, "Yes, what Godfather said is true. These people don't deserve to be called heroes." Yang Jai then asked him, "What, in your opinion, should a real hero be?" Liu Yun pondered for a moment, thinking, wait a minute, does this question carry the weight of the organization's expectations? After a little reflection, he replied, "I think that the more powerful a person is, the more responsibility he bears. And heroes should make saving humanity their life's duty. They should not betray their faith for the sake of power and glory." Yang Jai apparently was not very pleased with this answer, thinking, he's so stupid. I trusted him. Which movie did he copy this remark from? But he told Liu Yun that he was doing well, and that the organization's funds deposited earlier were enough to exchange for a rank D ability potion. He then threw him a potion. Liu Yun caught it and asked, "Is it really just a D rank?" Yang Jai told him that he should improve his skills slowly and not strive for instant success. "If you don't need it, then you should return it," he added. Liu Yun replied that it was needed and thanked his godfather, exclaiming, "This red color is so beautiful." He then drank it. As he drank, he asked, "Why does it taste like ketchup?" Yang Jai patted him on the shoulder, thinking he should first connect 2 E-rank pearls. He then told Liu Yun that it was most likely his imagination. At that moment, Liu Yun combined 2 abilities and received a D-rank ability. Ability name, Werewolf Power. Description: he is now not dependent on moonlight and can freely transform into a werewolf. Assessment: this is not a husky. Liu Yun said, "That's strange. I didn't transform this time." Yang Jai thought, naturally, he wouldn't transform unless he activated the pearl ability. He grinned and told Liu Yun, "Maybe you need to warm up a little to figure it out." Liu Yun tensed up and asked his godfather, "What are you gonna do?" Yang Jai hit him in the face and told him, "Be patient. To make you stronger, Godfather must be ruthless." Liu Yun, in pain, pleaded, "Godfather, have mercy." Liu Yun turned into a werewolf and told the Godfather that, as expected, his ability had improved. He felt he had more strength. Yang Jai told him to cancel his ability. Yang Jai then asked him, "Isn't it exhausting to maintain this form?" Liu Yun turned back into a human and said, "I've turned back." Yang Jai replied, "Okay, now you should continue to keep an eye on the blue pill. People who use the blue pill are emotionally unstable. Liu Yun should be careful." Putting on his jacket, Liu Yun said he understood and thanked his godfather for his care. Yang Jai added, "Also, in the second task, you will have to collect information about heroes who secretly commit bad deeds." Liu Yun asked, "What is this for? Does the organization really want to gain followers?" Yang Jai replied, "Not everyone can join our organization. These heroes are just raw materials for us." Liu Yun, already leaving, asked, "What is raw material? Is the organization planning to absorb their power?" Yang Jai said, "Otherwise, where did the potion of abilities come from? Liu Yun, you have to work hard and collect more necessary materials for your abilities from the ranks." Liu Yun was very surprised, thinking, "It turns out that after half a day of work, I was promoted only to C rank." He shouted after his godfather, "Yes, I swear, I will fulfill this mission." Meanwhile, Yang Jai reached the deserted beach and took off his mask. He said that a deserted beach in the middle of the night was the most suitable place to train a snow girl's ability. He summoned the snow girl with his ability. Little Snow appeared, and running to her master said she missed him very much. Yang Jai shouted at her to stop. Yang Jai told her that now was the time to train her abilities. She needed to have a training fight with him. The snow girl said she didn't want to hurt her master. Yang Jai told her, "You are just a summoned spirit with a rank. You wouldn't be able to harm me." Hearing this, the snow girl said, "Then I'll start attacking." Yang Jai told her, "Attack!" Then he noticed that another dimension had opened up behind the snow girl. A monster emerged from it, called the Pumped Frog. This humanoid beast liked to train its muscles and possessed a pair of strong arms. Its rating and rank were also apparent. After seeing the Pumped Frog, Yang Jai said, "It's a monster invasion. Good, at least it's just a D-rank invasion." But then another monster appeared from there. This monster was called the predatory unicorn. It was a water-type beast, extremely good at running on water. Yangjai was very tense and shouted at the snow girl from behind. The snow girl turned around, very surprised, but then some light appeared, and Yangjai asked, "What is it? It's so dazzling." When the light cleared, he saw that Snow had matured. The grown-up Snow told the monsters, "Are you really looking for death?" A pumped frog crawled out of the ground. The snow girl called it a damn frog. Yangjai called out to the snow girl and said, "You've grown up!" Then the snow girl told him that this was her combat uniform. Yangjai examined her completely, very confused, and exclaimed, "How ferocious! How cruel!" However, as always, the snow girl froze the pumped frog. Yangjai had already put on his mask and asked, "Is it really dead now?" The snow girl said, "Not yet." Then the pumped frog jumped out and broke the ice. Yangjai applied his ability called plasma, but the frog turned out to be very resourceful. Yangjai shouted at the snow girl, "Stop him!" The snow girl said, "Yes, master!" And the snow girl nailed this monster to the ground. Yangjai went down to the monster and extracted its ability. It was a D-rank ability. Its name was Physical Training. Description: physical endurance and other indicators will be constantly strengthened through physical exercises. Assessment: it is necessary to become stronger and try to remove the limiter, and it is unlikely that he will be able to hold out for a long time. The snow girl also went down to Yangjai and called out to him. Yangjai said it seemed like they had lost someone. They looked around, and Yangjai asked, "Where has the horse gone?" The snow girl looked at the city and said that she thought this monster was heading there. Yangjai said he understood. They needed to go after them. He asked the snow girl what was happening to her. The snow girl said that she had just gone out for a while. "And do you really want to regain control of my body again? It's so unfair." Yangjai was very worried and asked her how she was. Then, the snow girl told her master that her name was Lin Nai, and she was not a snow girl. She grabbed hold of him and said that he shouldn't even think he would succeed. "I should be the one." She reached out to kiss him, but then she assumed her true form. Yangjai picked her up and asked, "You're that snow girl, right?" The snow girl asked Yangjai if she had just blacked out. Yangjai patted the snow girl on the head and asked her, "You don't remember what just happened?" The snow girl said, "Absolutely nothing." But wait, didn't they just train? Yangjai thought that the snow girl had as many as 2 personalities, and they were not connected by a common memory in any way. The snow girl was very happy and said that the owner patted her on the head. "Let the master hug me now." Yangjai said that, however, they both like him. The snow girl asked Yangjai, "What are you talking about? Am I so sleepy?" Yangjai asked, "Why sleep?" "Then let her come back and rest." The snow girl said goodbye to her master and said that she would miss him. Then she disappeared. Yangjai looked at the water and said that the monster, as expected, headed for the mountains. Meanwhile, Liu Yuan was driving along the highway. He declared himself a wolf, a predator rushing across the field. He noticed the water, saw that it was strange, and asked what it was. But when he looked closer, he saw monsters there and was very scared. He stopped the car and ran to the beach where there were people. He started shouting at them, calling them a bunch of cretins, and told them that there was a monster. "Stop eating." A girl saw him and told everyone to look, "Because someone is waving at us." The guy who was sitting next to the girl said, "Well, this one has a sports car, so what? He just wants to attract attention, to show off in front of us." The other girls started listening to his words and told them all to shut up, because he was shouting something. When they figured out exactly what he was shouting, they all looked at the water, and they saw a giant monster there. Liu Yuan didn't know what to do now. Did they really need him to save them? But still, he rushed to their aid and said that he had not been so responsive before. The short-haired girl who heard Liu Yuan's words was floundering in the water and asking for help. A chubby guy grabbed her by the arm. He told her to hold onto the log. The girl with the short haircut, whose name is Lulu, told the guy to grab on too. The guy also went to the log and said that it was so great that she was fine. He wanted to say something but didn't have time because a monster grabbed his hand and bit it off. At this time, Liu Yuan swam to Lulu's aid, telling her to come to him as soon as possible and he would help her get to shore. But Lulu told him that Puffy was dragged into the sea and asked Liu Yuan to save him first. Liu Yuan told her that he would do it after saving her. "You should swim to me faster before this monster comes back again." Lulu clung to Liu Yuan and said, "No, I'm afraid of the monster." Liu Yuan grabbed her in his arms and dragged her to the shore. "My God, she looks so thin, but why is she so heavy?" Then he heard the sounds of a helicopter. A helicopter flew to the rescue, from which a woman looked out, stating that the station had received many reports of a monster and huge waves on the shores of Lugang. They should check the condition of the victims. She looked closer and saw 2 people on the shore. She said it seemed these 2 miraculously escaped death and successfully escaped from danger. But upon closer inspection, they exclaimed, "Look, this is the guy who saved the girl." girl. He's an internet celebrity, young Mr. Liu Yuan. Is he really ready to die for the sake of flirting with a girl? At this time, the evil dragon and the lazy swordsman were training together. The evil dragon said the hero Bing Chuan followed his father and went to a meeting of the Association of Heroes. The lazy swordsman asked if anyone was jealous. Does he really think that Li Kongyang has taken his place? The evil dragon retorted, I was jealous. This is much better than sucking up to this bureaucrat. He doesn't want any strength that comes from such means. Then the lazy swordsman shouted for him to watch the live report as soon as possible. A monster appeared on the shore, and his younger brother is there too. The evil dragon came up to the TV and said he must have made a mistake. This kid will be terribly scared if he meets a monster. He would have run away. Why would he suddenly stay? But when he looked closely, he said it was simply impossible. The woman who was sitting in the helicopter said these monsters would catch them. She really hopes the hero will arrive on time. The evil dragon grabbed the TV and asked, why the hell is this jerk Liu Yuan acting like a good guy? He should just leave this woman and get out of there. But the monster was already catching up with Liu Yuan. The lazy swordsman said he was finished. The evil dragon was very worried and said Liu Yuan was his cute little brother. But then the lazy swordsman shouted for him to wait before panicking. After all, it turns out his brother also knows how to transform. The evil dragon asked, did his little brother also have the power of transformation? At this time, Liu Yuan had already saved the girl. The girl was very grateful to him and called him her hero, to which Liu Yuan told her not to be obsessed with him, because he is just a legend. And he rushed to attack this monster, saying that a real man does not run from danger. He will kill this monster. And Yangshai managed to save that chubby guy, saying it was good he saved him in time. Otherwise, it would be a tragedy. Well, now they will see how his godson fights. Liu Yuan caught up with this monster, grabbed its hoof, and said he was waiting for it to use that thing. He began to spin this monster and then sent it on a long flight. Liu Yuan said that when the monster invaded, he stopped being a person who runs away or hides until rescuers arrive. He has to surpass Big Brother and the old man and become an S-rank hero. Yangshai watched him and told him it was a great job. He changed his mind about him. Her two friends ran up to Liu Lu. The guy said that it was so good that she was safe. She scared him to death. And the girl asked her, where is the chubby guy? Liu Lu said he was dragged into the sea by a monster when he was trying to protect her. Two of her friends were shocked and asked, what? Liu Lu pointed her finger at Liu Yuan and said this hero said he would help her save the chubby guy. Meanwhile, Liu Yuan began to suck in water. He asked what was going on. Damn it! Why can't he move? That monster did it all. The monster ran away and pierced him with its horn. And the girl from the helicopter continued to conduct her report. She said Liu Yuan was wounded in the back and suffered a lot of damage from a double hoof strike. He's at a disadvantage. Meanwhile, the evil dragon gathered himself and ran to help his brother. The lazy swordsman asked him if he was really in a hurry to get there, adding, you're very worried about him, and I asked him to take care of the others as well. Meanwhile, Liu Yuan kept fighting this monster and wasn't even going to give up. He said it was painful. But the monster attacked him again, and Liu Yuan asked, what, again? The woman said that it was very bad because the monster had gone berserk. Liu Yuan took another hit. He couldn't breathe, and this time he was pierced halfway through. But then he saw Yongjai and shouted for him to save him. Liu Yuan asked his godfather for help. Those who watched this scene were shocked. Someone exclaimed, no! The monster is devouring young Master Liu Yuan. Is he going to die? Liu Lu shouted for her heroes to hold on. Then Yongjai couldn't stand it and put on his mask and went to help Liu Yuan. Everyone saw him and exclaimed, reinforcements have finally arrived! It's Lord Yu Jai! The woman doing the live report exclaimed, my God, the mysterious Yu Jai, who appeared on television a while ago. He has reappeared! Yongjai told Liu Yuan that he had helped him a lot by revealing his abilities and playing the role of bait. Now it only remains to see if the blue pill will absorb it. Yongjai was looking forward to it. He used his ability and manifested a blade, which he soon directed at the monster. The mysterious monster was defeated. The woman exclaimed, the mysterious Yu Jai knocked out the monster with just one of his abilities. Liu Yuan fell onto Yongjai's board and returned to normal. Yongjai went to the monster and asked, who ordered you to do such vile things? Now you have to give me your ability. Yongjai stole this monster's abilities. It was a D-rank ability. Title, Surf Master. Description, allows you to walk on water and control its flow to attack. Note, convenient to use for washing dishes. Yongjai turned to Liu Yuan and told him that he had helped a lot to attract attention to the blue pills, and he would let him take all the laurels. Yongjai headed towards the shore. He brought Puffy and Liu Yuan ashore. Lulu said that he was dealt with in time, and now their lives were no longer in danger. Then Liu Yuan jumped up, exclaiming, it hurts! He wanted to say something else, but he was hugged by Lulu, who was very glad that he was alive. She said that he saved Puffy and came back alive, thanking him again. Liu Yuan was very happy to be hugged by such a girl. girl and said that it was all a trivial matter. He called her a cutie and told her not to hug him so tightly because she was pressing on his wound. A crowd gathered around him. Someone asked him why he had changed so much. After all, the internet says he's a good-for-nothing son from a rich family. Liu Yuan said it was all just a false rumor. He, Liu Yuan, is a hero of justice who protects humanity as the Lord of Yuejai. He looked after the departing Yangjai and thought that he was very grateful to his godfather for saving him. From now on, he will do his best to serve him. Someone from the crowd exclaimed, "Da Yuejai is a real god!" He quickly appeared, dealt with the monster in a moment, and didn't even accept praise. He fully lived up to his name. Then, pushing through the crowd, a man appeared, whom everyone called a grumpy crank. He told Mr. Liu Yuan that he had violated the rules for using abilities and asked him to follow him to the Hero Association. Someone from the crowd asked, "Who is this guy, anyway?" Two guys started whispering among themselves. One of them said he had examined the man's clothes. "Is there a sign on it that belongs to the Association of Heroes? Are these people from the Heroes Association? They're always poking their noses into our affairs. They are too persistent and always follow the rules." People called him Grumpy Scissorhands because he performs his duties with a disturbing reverence. Liu Yuan told the man he was just saving people. Grumpy Scissorhands replied that they didn't care about his reasons. He didn't have permission to use his abilities in public places. He broke the law, so he had to go with him. But then the Demon Dragon appeared, stating that this issue would be decided by the Kunlun Company, and he would deal with anyone who dared to send his brother for questioning. One of the onlookers was delighted, exclaiming, "It's the Demon Dragon, the notorious hero!" The Demon Dragon landed next to his brother. Liu Yuan asked him why he was here. The Demon Dragon replied that it seemed the Wolf Man had very good regeneration potential. His wounds were almost all healed. He then asked his brother not to cause any more problems next time. Liu Yuan said, "Yes, I know everything." Grumpy Scissorhands turned around and said that if so, he hoped the company would be able to give the Association of Heroes exhaustive explanations acceptable to them. The Demon Dragon, watching his brother from afar, thought that Liu Yuan had never shown any hint of having abilities. Why had he suddenly awakened them? The next morning, at Yangjai's apartment, Yangjai had already taken a morning shower and was sitting on his bed. He noted that he possessed quite a lot of elemental abilities. He listed abilities like Flame, Plasma, Metalokinesis, and Surfmaster. He wondered if he could combine them. That would be quite interesting. He relaxed on the couch and, addressing his sister Fei Fei, said that he had tried many abilities, and now that he felt their power, he might try to find a healing ability. Then, he would be able to cure her. But where could he find information about a person with such an ability? Yangjai realized he could only try to get into the body of the sour spicy hero and look for some useful information. That's what he decided to do. He used his control ability and moved into the body of the man he had met in his car. Yangjai examined his new body, noting that the control ability allowed him to successfully capture bodies. He decided to try to activate Metalokinesis, but he didn't succeed. Yangjai realized that the ability seemed to remain in his real body. It couldn't move with his soul. A showdown was surfacing. The girl, addressing the senior, warned that if he did not go with her, he shouldn't blame her for what would happen if he tried to use force. The man began to make advances toward the girl and told her not to misunderstand him. He said that if she wanted to join the company of the Divine Dragon Hero and undergo training, she must follow their company's rules. He grabbed the girl by the hand and asked, "I wonder which girl doesn't have a pretty face and a sexy body." He told her to please him and their boss, the Reverend Lord of their organization. His boss had excellent healing abilities, and he was also very good at such things. Yangjai heard this and thought to himself, what is this healing ability? After all, God himself helps him. The man started tearing the girl's clothes. The girl cried, begging him to stop. Yangjai then came to her aid and threw the guy into the bushes. The guy got out of the bushes and asked, "Who was that? What kind of freak dared to kick me?" Yangjai replied that he was his karma, and now he would bring down retribution upon him. The man, emerging from the bushes, asked, "Is that really the sour spicy hero? Who do you think you are? Why are you minding my business?" To which the sour spicy hero replied, defending the girl, "If you had a younger sister or daughter who was being blackmailed or sexually harassed, how would you feel?" The guy scoffed. "Harassed? What harassment? This girl has been quietly doing an internship in our company for many years. Don't think she really suffers so much because in fact, she wanted this chance with all her heart." The girl couldn't stand it anymore and shouted, "Stop talking this nonsense! I would never!" The sour spicy hero stood up for her and told the guy to think carefully. "After all, once it starts, it will never end." He turned to the girl and told her that if she wanted to become a heroine, she should focus on her goal and dedication. The girl stopped crying and told the sour spicy hero that she now understood everything and thanked him for saving her. The sour spicy hero is actually a very good person. she added. Then she turned to the guy, called him trash, and ran away. The guy thought, they say this guy has to eat something sour or spicy to transform. The effect lasts no more than 15 minutes. But where does he find this sour and spicy food? After that, the guy got bolder and said, the sour spicy hero is a jerk. He let this girl escape and destroyed everything I worked for. He knows what the consequences will be, right? The sour spicy hero asked him, what consequences? After that, the guy attacked him, telling him he would make him an invalid. But the sour spicy hero took his pill and announced an acutely spicy transformation. The guy was very surprised. The sour spicy hero then punched him in the stomach. The guy admitted he had completely forgotten that the hero could eat a compressed capsule. However, he knew the transformation would only last 15 minutes, and when the time ran out, he vowed to beat the hero until he begged for mercy. The sour spicy hero questioned, what 15 minutes? Meanwhile, Yan 11 himself thought that the ability couldn't move with the body, but it increased his inner strength, and since he was connected to the soul, after collecting so many abilities, his inner strength became insanely frightening. Due to the fact that powerful abilities directly depended on inner strength, the sour spicy hero was able to last no more than 15 minutes. He couldn't control the energy and spent it too often until he reached exhaustion. Using the spiritual power of the octopus amulet, Yan 11 could release his power in an instant. Therefore, his transformation might take longer. The sour spicy hero used his power and saw where the guy was hiding. He told him, only weaklings hide. Then he grabbed the guy by the collar. The guy, very surprised, asked, how did you find me? Are you really a B-rank hero? To which the sour spicy hero replied that perhaps he didn't know, but he had been hiding his true strength. The guy conceded that he had lost today and asked to be let go. He offered to call his Divine Dragon Company, who would then offer a financial reward. The sour spicy hero told him that he would only let him go if he wouldn't cause trouble or seek revenge afterward. However, the hero reminded him of something. The guy was very scared and asked him to stop, demanding, what are you going to do now? Are you gay? The sour spicy hero just grinned. The guy pleaded with the sour spicy hero not to do this, suggesting they just talk without violence. Yongzai, at this time, thought that he could not only teach the scum a lesson, but also prevent resentment, hatred, and persecution from other people. After this incident, they would only find trouble with the sour spicy hero. After that, the sour spicy hero grabbed the guy by the leg and dragged him into the bushes. The guy in the bushes started shouting, begging him not to undress. Please don't take off my clothes. You must spare me. After some time, when the sour spicy hero finished all his business with the guy, he assumed his true form and walked on through the park. He declared that after these photos, this garbage would no longer harass girls or the sour spicy hero. A message on his phone stated that new photos could not be deleted, ensuring the forest ranger wouldn't create problems for him. The sour spicy hero, after reading this message, said, it's a reminder. He should understand. Okay, I have already received the necessary information. I can leave this body. Yongzai then applied the control ability and deactivated it. The sour spicy hero came to his senses. He looked around and asked, am I still in the park? Was I asleep or something? He then read on his phone that new photos could not be deleted, ensuring the forest ranger wouldn't create problems for him. He then asked, what is this photo? But when he looked at the photo, he was very shocked and exclaimed, what the hell is this? Meanwhile, at the branch of the Association of Heroes in Lugang City, a mechanical hero and other heroes had gathered to talk. The leader of the Hero Association branch in Lugang City, Wu Zaijie, was present, along with his co-leader, Aoyang Yan. Wu Zaiji stated that planning Stage 1 defense required their help. The scale of the depression was very high, and they had to be very careful. Wu Yangyan explained that after this planning period, everyone would create a role model of the attack and force the monsters to return to their world. They, the heroes, should portray those who drove the monsters away. The two guys who were sitting listening to it all were very inspired. One of the guys said that they were obliged to support the Association of Heroes. They would even risk their lives for it. Another guy, however, said, yes, I would destroy the heroes. This is their main task. The mechanical hero considered this, realizing that the association's purpose this time was to have each organization or company send a ranked hero to the core deviation center to strengthen control over the depressions. Their intentions, of course, are clear. By assuming the guise of a monster hunter, one can earn a lot of money. More importantly, there's information that the monster world has the ability to improve items, equipment, or weapons. This is the primary reason why the hero is so eager to undertake this job. Here, the word of the strongest carries the greatest weight. Having an owner of a powerful ability is the key for an organization to become invincible and gain a high position. The glacial adventurer was also thrilled and eager to improve his special elemental ability. It was already evening, and Yongjai was performing cloning in his apartment. He created his clone, and after examining it, he noted that the clone, in general, had learned. but he looked at it strangely. He began to work again, asking himself how he needed to combine these abilities. But first, he needed to dismantle the low-level metal kinesis. Then he would be able to improve the plasma to a higher level. He also needed a B-grade auxiliary ability. Combining all this, he acquired a ranked ability. The ability was named Shadow Substitution. Details of this ability: 3 shadow clones could be swapped during battle. They could also create weapons for attack from shadow matter. Evaluation of this ability: 1 person is not enough to assemble a basketball team. Yang Jai directed this ability towards his clone, and he told it that it was so cool and domineering and that it had to stay cool. After that, he used his transformation ability and changed his appearance. Yang Jai ordered his new self to go and confront 2 saints who would reap abilities. It was his turn. Yang Jai flew to the 2nd district of Xiaoju City. He emerged from the airport and remarked that he hadn't expected it to be so hot here. He walked over to the taxi. The taxi driver lowered his window and asked if he was really from District 1 and where he was going. Yang Jai then got into the taxi with him. At that moment, a message from Liu Yun arrived on his phone. Liu Yun wrote that he had sent the data Yang Jai asked him to find about the members of the Organization of Saints to his email. He wished his godfather's speedy success. The taxi driver told Yang Jai that the city's most developed area was the gaming business. He strongly advised visiting Sambo Casino or Alibis, assuring him that after a major victory, Yang Jai would be able to safely return to the hotel. And he added, "By the way, since you're so handsome and young, perhaps I can recommend another good place." Yang Jai asked him, "What is this place?" The taxi driver replied, "It's the Dreams of Paris, a place where girls are full of enthusiasm, and it's not that expensive." Yang Jai thought that even such establishments operated here without problems. Xiaoju truly was a city of chaos. Soon they arrived at the Heaton Hotel. The driver quoted a price, saying he would charge 500 Azure coins. Yang Jai was shocked. He thought, did the price increase by 5 times? He then asked the taxi driver if he had perhaps calculated the price incorrectly. The taxi driver replied, "No, everything is correct. The rest is a fee for an explanation. Consider it a lesson for a simple boy who came to the 2nd district for the first time." The taxi driver then took out his gun and presented it to Yang Jai. He told him, "I don't think it's worth hesitating to choose which is more important, life or money, right?" Yang Jai replied, "Of course I wouldn't hesitate, but I only needed a lesson here," after which he used his puppet control ability. He then entered the hotel and approached the reception desk, where he was given a key card for his room. He was also told that if he needed help, he could call their staff. Yang Jai said, "Thank you." His belongings were carried by the same taxi driver. Seeing this, the girls at the reception began to whisper. One of them whispered, "It's incredible. I didn't expect that gentleman could get that uncivilized taxi driver to help him with his luggage." The other girl replied, "Yes, or maybe he even wants to invite her to dinner." Yang Jai had already reached the elevator and told the taxi driver he still had things to do, and he could leave as soon as he brought his belongings to the room. To which the taxi driver replied, "As you ordered." They ascended to the 37th floor. Yang Jai was looking at information about a hero on his phone. It stated that the Organization of Saints was associated with ranked abilities, and this particular hero wore a mask. The hero's current location was the Heaton Hotel, 37th floor, room 441. Yang Jai then activated his transformation ability, disguising himself as a snake. After that, he made his way into the hero's room. The hero was having fun with 2 girls there. He told one of the girls to come over and give him a hug. Then, the girl behind the hero noticed something and screamed. The hero turned around and asked, "Who's there?" At that moment, Yang Jai had already attacked him. The hero called out to the 2 girls, asking why they hadn't closed the door. Yang Jai grabbed the 2 girls, and they began cursing the hero. The hero told Yang Jai that he didn't care who he was, but since Yang Jai had allowed him to absorb the girls' fear, he wouldn't live. He then attacked Yang Jai, but Yang Jai didn't let the attack land. The hero asked, "Is that really the ability to control shadows? You must have used a shadow to sneak in here, right?" But Yang Jai remained silent. Yang Jai thought it was quite difficult to behave coolly and ruthlessly, but he was very sensitive about this matter. Meanwhile, the hero thought that if it weren't for the power these girls gave him, he wouldn't have had a chance. Yang Jai attacked the hero again with his shadows, but the hero managed to dodge them. He then asked Yang Jai, "Who are you anyway? Don't you know I'm from the Saints organization? If you report this to the organization, they'll skin you alive." But Yang Jai didn't answer him. The hero grew even angrier and said, "I asked you a question. Are you deaf or something?" He thought to himself that Yang Jai wouldn't be able to dodge his next blow. Now victory would definitely be his. But Yang Jai's fist passed right through his head, after which the hero shook with fear and begged Yang Jai not to kill him. Otherwise, the priest won't let this go so easily. He gave up and begged for mercy. Yang Jai pulled off the hero's mask and stuffed it into his mouth. Then, he called the hero Garbage and proceeded to extract his ranked ability. The name of this ability was Mask of Fear. Description: absorbs fear and makes the owner of this ability stronger. Ability assessment: for a horror movie, this ability is perfect. The hero asked Yongjai, "What have you done to me? Where did my ability go? You must give it back to me immediately. Otherwise, the priest will definitely kill you." To which Yongjai replied, "Then let me take a look at this priest you keep talking about, the one he's always talking to, with the help of puppet control." Using his puppet control ability, Yongjai plunged into the hero's memories and began to watch footage from his life. Yan Cici's voice echoed, "His memories show that he participated in the War of Abilities. And is he really dead?" Yongjai started watching the moment when this hero was already at death's door. A man came up to him and said he could bring him back to life. "But you have to swear allegiance to me," the hero replied. "I swear." After which, the hero got up and asked if his parents had disappeared. Did he really survive? The hero bowed to the man, calling him the Priest of Light. Yongjai then applied his control ability. Controlling the hero's body, Yongjai went to the port. He turned around and saw a red container. Yongjai realized something about the red container had slipped his memory. He began to remember exactly what he had seen there. The woman, nicknamed Bloodthirsty Rose, said she had heard that a swordsman had infiltrated his secret production area. "It's true," the masked hero confirmed. "Lady Rose would have no problems with her. You only have to order and I will kill her immediately." The commander of the Deep Sea Army added, "I will kill her. She's an A-rank hero. Why do you think you can do it?" someone questioned. The magus of the Great Earth scoffed. "A-rank, and so what? The disciples of the saints should not be afraid of some kind of A-rank hero." All three, the masked hero, the commander, and the magus, then went to the holy priestess. He told them they were ignorant. "Bring her here. I want to enjoy this swordswoman." All three said they understood. The masked hero remarked, "Then this brat is waiting for a well-deserved vacation." The commander of the Deep Sea Army then ordered the masked hero, "Come here." The masked hero turned and asked, "What is your order?" The commander replied, "The goods arrived at the port on Site 1, which is in a red container. You should go there tomorrow and find out if there is any information about this girl. If so, report it immediately. Any damaged item will be your responsibility. If you handle everything responsibly, you shouldn't miss this chance given to you." Remembering this, Yongjai wondered if he would be able to get inside. What kind of product is this anyway? He came closer to the container and saw that he needed to put his finger there. "It's a piece of cake," he muttered. He used his plasma ability and managed to get inside the red container. He started down the stairs thinking, "I didn't think the container itself would be just an illusion. The real goods must be hidden deeper." A stinky smell assaulted him. What kind of stinky smell is this? Is it really blood? He went down to the final floor and saw a man sitting at a table. Is it really security? He wondered. The man saw him, stood up, and greeted the masked gentleman. The masked hero, a little embarrassed, asked, "What happened today?" The man told him, "You probably don't know, but a very valuable product was recently brought in. How did you get tired of these creatures already?" Yongjai thought, what kind of creatures? Is that really it? He then told the man, "Show me this product already." The man led him past cells where young children were crying, visible through cameras. Passing by one of these cells, the man couldn't stand it and told one of the children, "Stop making noise already. If you anger the masked gentleman, he will whip you like that." The children fell silent. Yongjai thought, yes, these saints keeping children in such a place is just terrible. It seems these children were abducted from different corners of the earth. And they are so young. The eldest of them is 15 or 16 years old. He couldn't stand it and shouted, "You're a bunch of idiots who are just ready to say goodbye to your lives. I will make everyone involved pay." In one of the cells, a man told a guy, "I will whip you to death. How dare you bite me?" Swinging again, he added, "That's what you get." Then the masked man came and told him, "Stop right now." The masked man asked him, "What, are you really in trouble because of this guy?" The man said, "Yes." The masked gentleman suddenly attacked him and bit off his ear. Yongjai looked at this guy and thought that his eyesight was not bad. The masked gentleman asked the man, "What is the reason?" The man hesitated and said, "The reason," but he was interrupted by the suddenly appeared preacher of the Organization of Saints, whose name is Mantis with a two-handed sword. Mantis said, "There was no other reason. It was obvious what was on his mind. He wanted to do something with this kid's sister." Yongjai was horrified and asked, Yongjai saw a girl in the corner. The mantis with the two-handed sword remarked, "What a pity, she's scared to death." Yongjai was still terrified, thinking they were a bunch of jerks. A mantis with a two-handed sword approached the masked gentleman. "Brother," he said, "I thought you were enjoying your vacation with might and main. What brought you here? How do you like the two blondes I recommended to you?" The masked gentleman replied, "They were good, of course. But today, I came here to help the commander of the Deep Sea Army check the condition of the goods." The masked gentleman said, "Release this guy. They can pay a large sum for him." A mantis with a two-handed sword approached the guy. He grabbed him by the face and asked, Are you really saving your life? I don't mind. Even if this brat from the first territory loses all his teeth, he can still be sold at a high price. The guy replied in another language, I will kill you all. The masked gentleman told the guy, be patient a little more. Soon, I will fulfill your wish. A mantis with a two-handed sword asked, do you really understand our language? The masked gentleman replied, and not only that, I promised to fulfill his wish, and you came here in vain. Don't you think so? With that, the masked gentleman pierced through the mantis with a two-handed sword. The mantis gasped, brother, why? The masked man replied, because you are similar to me. We come from the same places. Then the mantis with the two-handed sword realized he was not the masked gentleman, but it was too late. The masked gentleman had already cut off his head. All this was watched by the man whose ear had been bitten off, and by the guard who brought the masked gentleman here. The man asked, what happened? The guard called out to the masked gentleman. The masked gentleman told them, you will all die here. He then killed them all. Young Jai received their abilities. The guy said his name was Yufan and asked the masked gentleman, who are you? The masked gentleman replied, I am the one who came to save you. Yufan said, I heard you bullied the children here not long ago. The masked gentleman replied, you will soon find out how it will turn out. He then cut the chains of Yufan's power, thereby freeing him. The masked gentleman told Yufan, wait here for a couple of minutes, but first, I need to deal with the people outside. Yufan got up and went to his sister. She was already dead. Seeing this, young Jai remembered his own sister. He came out of the cell and someone shouted, grab him! The masked gentleman was surrounded. He shouted, die, you garbage! He then chopped them all into pieces. The Lord of Sound appeared behind him. That was impressive, he said. He then greeted the spearman. He told his companion, we are surrounding the masked gentleman together. Let's see if he can escape. The spearman replied, good. He told his friend, I will attack first. The Lord of Sound said, before the music starts, he then used his ability. Everyone began to have a terrible headache. Young Jai thought, his music might provoke a nervous breakdown in people, but fortunately, my nervous system is strong enough. But these children will definitely not stand it. We need to get rid of it as soon as possible. The Lord of Sound pretended that he was defeated. The Lord of Sound said that no one can resist him, and he told the masked gentleman to burn in hell. But the masked gentleman used Yang Zai's force and disappeared. Then he appeared in another place, above the Lord of Sound, and kicked him in the back. The Lord of Sound coughed up blood and shouted to his friend to save him. Then the spearman threw his spear at him, but even this did not overcome the masked gentleman. After that, the masked gentleman killed the Lord of Sound. The spearman was shocked and asked if he had really killed him. He then asked the masked gentleman, why do you attack our organization? The masked gentleman asked, what for? For the sake of these children, and in the name of justice. The spearman asked him again, what in the name of justice? Do you think you're doing better? But even after defeating him, you cannot escape from here. I am forced to inform you that the commander of the Deep Sea Army is already on his way here. The masked gentleman asked if they really wanted to die. After all, I will kill every one of you. The spearman used his power and called the masked gentleman an idiot and told him, if you come up, I will kill you. The masked gentleman repelled his attack, thereby killing the spearman. The masked gentleman exhaled after his victory and said, that was painful. The boy who watched the battle from behind the bars said, my brother is wounded. The masked gentleman replied, it was nothing, all for the sake of their salvation. He opened the cages and told them to get out quickly and not push. You need to get out of there one at a time. Then Yufan came around the corner carrying his sister. Yufan was very serious and said he didn't want to suffer because of his own weakness. He wanted to become as strong as the masked gentleman and asked him if he could become his teacher. The masked gentleman said, of course, but you must swear eternal loyalty to me. Are you ready for this? Yufan said he was ready. I will become your most devoted disciple. Yang Zai used his puppet control ability and handed the pill to Yufan, saying, you should take it. Yufan asked, what is it? It's a pill, the power of a mantis. The masked gentleman said, this is an ability that will allow you to turn your hands into balls as the mantis did. Now Yufan will be able to ensure his safety for a while. Yufan thanked his master. Then Yufan left. When Yufan left, the masked gentleman said that he had to deal with the corpses next. He started pulling abilities out of them. After he did this, the masked gentleman said that last time he had to make a lot of mistakes before he managed to get 2 balls from a frog and wavy horses. And now he has managed to collect so many of them. People and monsters are so weak. To begin with, he decided to improve the shadow exchange ability to A rank, and now it should be easier for him in the battle with the priest. He combined the abilities, and he got an A rank ability. The name of this ability was Shadow Exchange. Description: shadow cloning a maximum of 5 pieces during battle. One of them can swap places with the user. The shadow of another person is able to create a shadow weapon to attack. Assessment: when bored, you can play with your own shadow. When the masked gentleman finished all his business there, he came out of the red container. But then he was met by a woman who poked him with her sword. She asked him who he was and where all these children came from. He must answer her immediately. The masked gentleman asked who she was. Then the kids gathered around the girl and began to say, "This is Sister Blanche." They were very happy to see her. One of the children told Sister Blanche that this hero had saved them. Another boy chimed in, "Yes, this hero injured himself when he tried to protect them. She must not misunderstand him." Blanche was very embarrassed and, addressing the masked gentleman, said, "Since this is the case, I apologize to you." The masked gentleman replied, "Everything is fine." He then asked her, "Are you really Blanche, the Arank swordswoman heroine?" Blanche replied, "Yes, I received information that people were being trafficked here, so I rushed to rescue them. I really didn't expect the masked gentleman to do it before me." Blanche sat down, patted Yufan, and apologized for being late. Then something started happening, and the children were terrified. The masked gentleman asked, "What's going on here?" Children began to be dragged down by plants. They shouted to their brothers and sisters to save them. The children were very scared, and everyone was calling for help. Yufan called out to his master. The masked gentleman told Yufan, "Wait here, I will save them." The bloodthirsty Rose asked him, "What makes you think you can save them? Don't make me laugh with these statements." Did he think he was a hero? Their commander called out to bloodthirsty Rose, the commander of the Deep Sea Army, and the wizard of the Great Earth. He told them, "Show this bug the power of the saints," and applied the ability of magical healing. Bloodthirsty Rose said, "Using abilities with such a large range is definitely very tiring. But with this power, which was given to her by the High Priest, their abilities will be restored in a moment." The High Priest turned to the swordswoman Blanche and said, "You are not allowed to touch the goods of the Organization of Saints. You must surrender now, and then I will spare your life." Therefore, he turned to the masked gentleman and said, "As for this traitor, he should die here." Yangjai thought, "If they really die, we will still see which one of us will die." Swordswoman Blanche thought, "If he was just a B-rank hero, then I would be able to handle him. But with an A-rank fighter like the priests, there would be big problems." She then told the High Priest, "The Association of Heroes is already on its way. You should immediately let go of your weapons, as you are destined to die in case of disobedience. So, you should surrender as soon as possible." The High Priest only sighed and told Bloodthirsty Rose, the commander of the Deep Sea Army, and the Wizard of the Great Earth to deal with the swordswoman Blanche as soon as possible. "You must catch her before the arrival of the Heroes Association." Swordswoman Blanche took out her sword and activated the power of the seal. The masked gentleman was very surprised and said, "She was able to release such a dangerous ability as befits an A-rank heroine." The Wizard of the Great Earth used the ability of the Sand Magic Circle to stop the swordswoman Blanche. But that didn't stop Blanche. She rushed at the commander of the Deep Sea Army, activating the seal force. The commander of the Deep Sea Army used the ability to establish the flow, and Blanche used the ability to dissect the sword. But then she was surprised by Bloodthirsty Rose, who decided to blackmail her and grabbed one of the children. Bloodthirsty Rose laughed and said, "Now he will become my victim, and I will use this child as a shield to stop the swordswoman Blanche's ability." Blanche was very angry and said, "Bloodthirsty Rose used the child as a human shield. How disgusting!" To which Bloodthirsty Rose replied, "Kindness is your weakness. I have a lot of prisoners, and now you will see how I act." The commander of the Deep Sea Army began to turn into water. Then he appeared behind Blanche and attacked her, but Yangjai covered her. The commander of the Deep Sea Army was very shocked, and Yangjai said, "He almost broke my 2 masks." Yangjai pulled out his blade, after which he fatally wounded the commander of the Deep Sea Army. Swordswoman Blanche wanted to finish him off, but Yangjai stopped her. The High Priest applied his ability, Holy Healing. Immediately after, the pressure on the Deep Sea Army commander's neck tightened. He laughed, declaring that with the High Priest, they were immortal. Following this, the High Priest used his Improvement ability, enhancing the skills of 3 of his soldiers. Yangjai noted that the dangerous aspect of a priest's ability to improve characteristics was that all their abilities would rise a rank in a very short time. The Wizard of the Great Earth then began to conjure. Swordswoman Blanche shouted that he was generating energy, and if the force was unleashed, the destructiveness of his spell would reach a new rank. Yangjai realized that a long-range attack could harm the children. He simply had to prevent it. He then told Blanche that these 2 were her responsibility, and he would deal with the others. Blanche looked very worried, asking him, "How is it possible to cope with the Wizard of the Great Earth's spell? What about the children then?" Yangjai answered her briefly, telling her to just trust him. Blanche wondered why he looked so mysterious, yet at the same time, so reliable. She truly believed him. She then told him that she would clear the way for him. After that, she activated her seal and rushed towards the captain of the Deep Sea Army. The captain of the Deep Sea Army stopped her attack, but the girl proved to be much stronger than he expected. The captain of the Deep Sea Army then called out to Bloodthirsty Rose, shouting for her to help him immediately, to which Bloodthirsty Rose replied, "How many times do I have to tell you not to call me that?" Following that, she used her Rose Spell ability, and Swordswoman Blanche's power began to weaken. Bloodthirsty Rose then stated that Blanche's body craved love, and she could awaken this desire within her. Does she feel that it has become somehow hot? The captain of the deep sea army then used his cloning ability. He then appeared behind Blanche and giggled nastily, asking her, "What? How are you? Does she want her older brother to pamper her?" After that, Blanche gathered all her remaining strength and used her Mind Seal ability. Bloodthirsty Rose was very surprised and exclaimed, "What?" She had never seen a swordswoman possess an ability like Mind Seal before, to which Blanche replied that she had only recently mastered this ability. It allows her to be reborn in a critical situation, after which she cut Bloodthirsty Rose in half. Blanche added, "It seems this effect had a good outcome. I should thank Bloodthirsty Rose for awakening my desire." The Wizard of the Great Earth saw it all and activated his release ability. He transformed into a huge dragon. When the children saw him, they were terrified and screamed even louder. Blanche also fell into a stupor, but Yongjai reappeared, saving her once more. A thick fog enveloped the area, and the Wizard of the Great Earth was now behind the High Priest. The Wizard of the Great Earth cleared his throat and thanked the High Priest for saving him with a healing gift. After all, if it hadn't been for the High Priest, the Wizard of the Great Earth would have suffered greatly from that explosion. The High Priest stated that initially there was no benefit. They would have easily coped with the sword, but instead, that mysterious man intervened. The High Priest even lost 2 members of his rank. The Wizard of the Great Earth told his master that although the saints were defeated, he shouldn't worry, because the High Priest was still alive, and he believed the organization would recover quickly. The High Priest said that he was right. As long as she was alive, the positions of the saints in Shaju would remain the same. The High Priest also thought that this masked man could repel a rank-level attack, which had a growth effect, with a single blow. He's even stronger than him. Now it's simply necessary to retreat. With that, they all left. Yongjai asked, "What are they avoiding? I'll give them a few more minutes of life." He approached the defeated captain of the Deep Sea Army and declared that his abilities belonged to him. He then extracted his ability. It was a B-rank ability. The name of this ability was Ghost of the Deep Sea. Description: enhances the water in the human body, significantly increasing its speed. It can also create a wave and a water clone, as long as there is at least a small amount of liquid nearby. Rating: Almighty Water. After which, Yongjai declared that Bloodthirsty Rose would be next. He walked up to her and told her that the sword seal was ruthless, then extracted her ability. This ability was also of A rank. The name of this ability was Bloodthirsty Rose. Description: summons vines and tendrils with the help of the owner's blood, which can emit a powder that increases characteristics to attack enemies. It can also be fraught with the risk of losing control over the vines. Assessment: Rose has a lot of thorns. After collecting these 2 abilities, Yongjai thought that he would first need to destroy them down to F rank, and then add the previously acquired skill, so he could create another A rank ability. Yongjai successfully created an A rank ability called Super Brain. Description: this ability improves vision, hearing, sense of smell, touch, taste, and the 6th sense. It also increases coordination. Additionally, it allows the user to release a wave that paralyzes the nervous system for a successful attack. Assessment: brother, are you really going to buy the whole pack? Yongjai applied this new ability, noting that the shape, sound, smell, and taste of all these sensations were incredibly sharpened. Just then, the swordswoman Blanche woke up. She immediately asked Yongjai what rank his abilities were. Does he really know how to create a huge explosion? And what's his name? Yongjai replied that he was from the judges' organization, and his factory was Yujai. Blanche asked again, "What is that? I've never heard of such a thing. Are you part of the hero socialization?" Then she looked around and asked him to wait, wondering where all the children were. Yongjai replied that they were right behind her. Blanche wrapped them as they joyfully ran into her arms. The children were still very scared, but glad that they were saved. Blanche said, "Thank God you're okay," and she asked, "How did you manage to escape?" To which one of the boys replied, "The Master's shadow saved us." Another child added, "Yes, there were a lot of shadows." Blanche asked again, "What is the Master's shadow?" The boy explained, "At first, he ordered her to cut the vine unnoticed and take us to another place. When the explosion occurred, he used the shadow to create a protective ring that protected us all." Blanche listened to them, a little confused. She wanted to ask what kind of master they were talking about, but then it dawned on her. She turned to Yongjai and said, "You're so smart," and thanked him, but he was gone. Blanche asked, "Where did he go?" Meanwhile, the Heroes Association arrived by helicopter. Someone shouted from the helicopter, "The Hero Association has arrived. We are taking control of the area. Everyone should refrain from rash actions." The helicopter landed, and reporters emerged from it. The young journalist turned to her boss, stating that this was her first live interview as a journalist. She asked what she should inquire about. The men told her to question the seal swordswoman. The journalist approached Blanche and greeted her. She introduced herself as Lin Nix-ju, a reporter from the Hero Association, and asked Blanche if she could ask her a few questions. Blanche replied, "Of course." She then introduced herself. "I am swordswoman Blanche, an A-rank heroine from the same organization." Comments appeared at the bottom of the screen. Someone was delighted, exclaiming, "This is the A-rank heroine Blanche." Another commented, "The live broadcast has started. It's just incredible. This is my favorite goddess." A third person noted, "It looks like she has injuries, but I hope she's okay." Another person noticed, "The new journalist is so beautiful." Lin Nix-ju then stated, "The Hero Association received your message and has arrived at Shaju Port. It is completely destroyed." "And could you, Blanche, tell us exactly what happened here?" Blanche apologized for making everyone worry and explained that she came here to save these children, whom the Organization of Saints intended to illegally sell. The comment section was horrified. Someone asked, "Does such a thing really still exist?" Another commented, "God, my brother has been missing for 6 months." Someone else asked, "What about the children there? Are they finally saved?" Lin Nix-ju replied, "I have also heard about these criminals. They are located on the territory of Shaju and are engaged in illegal activities. I very much hope that the government will be able to investigate this case." Blanche just shook her head negatively and said that nothing would work out between them. After all, they have been doing this for a very long time, and she put a lot of effort into getting in there and getting information. In the end, she managed to save these children. People who watched the live broadcast expressed sympathy for the poor children, but were glad they were now saved. The Association of Heroes is simply obligated to punish this organization as well. Blanche went on to say that if she had fought alone against the High Priest, she would have failed. Fortunately, however, a masked man appeared and helped her. Lin Nix-ju asked, "Who is the masked man?" Blanche replied that his fighting skills surpassed hers. He was able to destroy the enhancement effect, an ability only available to A-rank heroes. People immediately started asking questions. Someone speculated, could this be the Supermaster named Yujai? Another demanded, who is he? They should tell us about him as soon as possible. Blanche told them, pay attention to the scorched area. It was his doing. He wore a strange mask with a snake pattern on his face. And this guy said that he represents the organization of judges, and his name is Snakes. The people in the comment section started arguing again. Someone asked everyone to wait, then questioned, didn't Mr. Yujai awaken the golden gift? Another asserted, he definitely used the lightning ability. Someone else didn't understand what was going on at all. And someone suggested that people with an A rank or even higher should be accepted into the Association of Heroes. Lin Nix-ju looked around and remarked, it seems that person isn't here. Blanche then stated that the High Priest had escaped. She pointed in the direction where the High Priest ran away and added that the masked man had also gone there to catch up with him. Meanwhile, the High Priest, along with the Wizard of the Great Earth, were heading to the parking lot. They had already descended. The High Priest told the Wizard of the Great Earth that he had already spent the remains of his abilities on him. His power of sand, after all, is able to get rid of this jerk, right? The Wizard of the Great Earth replied, yes, I've filled the environment with my magic, and even if he uses plasma to attack us, it won't change anything. The High Priest then instructed him to find them a car, as they needed to get far away. At this time, Yangjai was eavesdropping on them. He thought, are they really going to escape? They won't succeed, because this place will become their grave. Just then, at the most inopportune moment, he received a phone call. The phone vibrated loudly. The High Priest, along with the Wizard of the Great Earth, turned around and demanded, who's there? Yangjai, sweating profusely, wondered, who needs me so badly right now? The phone, however, kept ringing. The High Priest and the Wizard of the Great Earth approached. Yangjai took out his phone and muttered, is this really Lin Nix-ju? Why is she calling me at such a time? The phone kept ringing. The High Priest and the Wizard of the Great Earth came closer. The Wizard of the Great Earth asked, who is it? At that moment, Yangjai activated his ability to change clothes, transforming back into himself. He answered the phone and stepped out from his hiding spot. He asked Lin Nix-ju, what's wrong? The Wizard of the Great Earth questioned, is he really a civilian? The High Priest warned him not to be so sure, because we need to find out. Lin Nix-ju then addressed Yangjai, calling him dear, and asked if he could guess where she was now. Yangjai squinted at the two men and asked, where are you? Aren't you at home? Lin Nix-ju, meanwhile, was already flying in a helicopter, having just interviewed Blanche. She told Yangjai that she was in Shazhou. Yangjai tensed up, thinking, Shazhou? What is she doing there? He then said aloud, there's unrest in that city right now. What brought you there? Lin Nix-ju replied, yes, everything is fine. I just wanted to share that I recently found an amazing permanent job. Yangjai asked, what job? Lin Nix-ju explained that she was accepted into the Heroes Association as a journalist, and she had just interviewed a seal swordswoman named Blanche, and now she was going to question the masked man, Yujai. Yangjai was very surprised and asked, what? He realized that with the help of the Heroes Association, Lin Naiju would quickly find him. Yang Jai told Lin Naiju that it was great. They would need to celebrate her new position today, and now he would go for a gift. Lin Naiju said that Yang Jai was so cool, and Yang Jai told her to wait well. After that, Yang Jai went into a dark corner and dropped the phone. The Wizard of the Great Earth said that he was just talking to his beloved. The wizard was so jealous of Yang Jai. After that, Yang Jai used his ability to change clothes again. The high priest said, "No, they had been deceived. He had come for them." Yang Jai ran out of the darkness, dressed as snakes. The Wizard of the Great Earth also used his ability and told his animals to kill him. Yang Jai dodged their attacks. The high priest said that they needed as many of these agile earth creatures as possible to cope with him. The Wizard of the Great Earth said that each of them could compete alone with a hero of A rank. The enemy simply would not have time to react. But then they noticed that Yang Jai was fine and wasn't even injured, after which he appeared behind the high priest's back and pierced him through with his ability. Yang Jai did the same with the Wizard of the Great Earth. The high priest was horrified and asked how such a thing was even possible. "Doesn't he have an electric type of magic?" Yang Jai, calling them idiots, asked, "What? Who said I could only use electricity?" The Wizard of the Great Earth said that he was a rare owner of the magic of 2 elements. He refused to believe it. The high priest told Yang Jai that if Yang Jai allowed him to live, he would not remain in his debt. To which Yang Jai replied that he was saving people's lives, not for his own benefit at all. In most cases, it was done in the name of justice. After that, he decided to finally finish off these 2, but the high priest grabbed the blue pills and ate them. Yang Jai jumped away from him and asked, "Have you taken a blue pill?" To which the high priest told Yang Jai that Yang Jai had forced him to do so. "But I not only know how to heal, I also have something else." He took a weapon out of his mouth. Yang Jai, in a foul stupor, said he felt about the same from Blanche's sword. Meanwhile, the high priest had already taken out his spear, and laughing said, "I still have a spear left, it's unexpected, isn't it?" After which, he activated his Sacred Rebirth Spikes ability. The high priest activated his Infinite Spears ability, combining his powers. A lot of craters formed throughout the room, from which his spears began to emerge. The high priest ordered his weapons to do justice to the criminal, after which his spears flew at Yang Jai. Yang Jai tried to dodge and run away from them. Running from the spears, he thought that they would not leave him alone. And at that moment, one of the copies of the Supreme Theft caught his leg. The high priest was very pleased with this. He laughed and told Yang Jai to keep running and jumping, calling him a parasite. "You're going to die at my hands anyway." Yang Jai stopped to catch his breath and thought that this was very bad. Even such a light attack was able to injure his limbs. Then he noticed these funnels and thought that the light had spread all over the ceiling, allowing him to mentally determine his location. "Well, now they'll see who's faster." The high priest asked him, "Which is faster? Is something capable of surpassing the speed of light?" But then Yang Jai used his super brain ability. He grinned and asked, "What's the light?" After which, he instantly moved, activated his ability to quickly and shadow blades, and ordered the high priest to surrender. Now all of his weapons that he had aimed at Yang Jai were aimed at himself and pierced him. The high priest said, "A spiritual attack? Does he have 3 abilities?" Yang Jai noticed that the high priest was beginning to heal. Yang Jai approached the high priest and said that it was useless to be treated because the high priest would have to die again. After that, he stole the ability again. Yang Jai stole the Supreme Illumination ability and gained an A rank ability. The name of the ability was Heart of Light. Description: Recovery. Gives the ability to heal physical wounds of owners A rank and below. Improvement. Increases the characteristics of abilities and rank. Invisibility allows the owner to hide if they are of a rank and below. Holy Healing gives the ability to heal oneself or a target of a rank and below. Spear of Justice can use light to create a large number of spears that can destroy enemies. An assessment of these abilities revealed they offer the opportunity not only to defend, but also to attack, making them very rare, inherited powers. After that, Yang Jai used this ability on himself and healed his wounds. He remarked that he hadn't expected to be so close to death, almost needing a blue pill. After that, he approached the Wizard of the Great Earth and stole his ability. Yang Jai said sand magic was pretty good. He acquired the ability, noting its high rank. The name of this ability was the Wizard of the Great Earth. Description: This ability grants the power to change the landscape through the use of sand and to summon an attacking sand monster. Assessment: The ability shows traces of being able to create an entire zoo. Then Yang Jai heard someone shout that the Hero Association had arrived. They were taking the area under their control. Yang Jai immediately activated his shape-shifting ability and reverted to his original form. He withdrew, stating he would leave everything as it was. After some time, reporters also arrived. Lin Naixu noted that the sound they had heard earlier indicated cracked walls and floors in the building. It seemed a fierce battle had taken place here. They went inside and saw the dead high priest. Lin Naixu was very surprised and asked, What? People immediately began to speculate, and Lin Naishu identified him as the leader of the Organization of Saints in Shazhou City, known as the Supreme Priest. Someone in the comments wrote, "God, what a pitiful death." Someone asked why everything was blurry on the chest. Then someone else, quite pleased, wrote, "It's cool! He finally died after such bad deeds." They weren't yet going to ask about the Snake Man's whereabouts. Then someone shouted for them to look, because someone else was there, one of the High Priest's subordinates. What Lin Naishu saw made her feel sick. She ran to the corner and vomited there. The man who helped her told her she needed a rest. Then someone handed her a bottle of water and asked if she was okay. She took the bottle and asked if it was really Yongzai. "What are you doing here?" Yongzai said he was just nearby when she called, and when he saw how much noise the Hero Association had made, he realized she would be here too. Lin Naishu was embarrassed and said that Yongzai was never around for her brilliant interviews, but constantly found her in awkward situations. She explained how embarrassing her first broadcast was. Yongzai began to calm her down and said everything was fine, and that she was beautiful no matter what she was doing. He himself thought he should have acted more wisely, at least to clean up the place. Then this man came up and asked Lin Naishu if she was feeling better already, but he saw her hugging her boyfriend and was also embarrassed. He said the rescue team had found the girl who had been abducted by the Organization of Saints. They were going to interview her now. Lin Naishu looked at what was going on there and told Yongzai, "Okay, I have to go, but you have to wait for me." The man looked at Yongzai, thinking that it turned out he never had a chance. After that, Lin Naishu began interviewing the girl. Yongzai was watching it. He activated his Heart of Light ability and said that very soon he would be able to return to save his sister Feifei. He thought that now he had gathered all the elements together. These were wind, sand, fire, and water. His high-rank abilities included light, darkness, sand, lightning, and metal. But soon, 3 unknown persons from the Organization of Saints were expected to appear. Yongzai decided he would call Dragon at the Central Hospital of Shazhou City. All the children were brought to the hospital by ambulance. The doctor told them to get down, get in line, and follow him. The doctor would need to examine them all. Yufan was still sitting in the ambulance with his sister. He said he hadn't seen the teacher since, but Yongzai appeared. Yufan was very happy to see him, but Yongzai gestured to him to be quiet. Yongzai used his control ability to infiltrate them. Yongzai, next to Yufan, mentioned his sister, but Yufan interrupted him, saying he knew she was dead. He wanted to take her home. He couldn't let her stay in that place. Yongzai said no, it was good that he took her with him, because it seems to me that she is still alive. She is just very weak. Yufan was very happy to hear this and asked, "Really?" Yongzai then applied his new holy healing ability, and the girl woke up. Yongzai told Yufan that he also needed to recover, and later, "I will take you away from here." Yufan was so happy about his sister being cured so quickly that he even cried and told his master, "Yes." Yongzai told Yufan to call him teacher and offered him money from their organization. He said that Yufan's sister was still very young and therefore should be allowed to live an ordinary life. Yongzai then had one more request for Yufan. He needed to gain the attention of the heroes at Yanjing University. Yufan said that he would then need a lot of abilities but he was interrupted by Yongzai, who said that Yufan should not worry about this. "You must take this ball with the ability of imitation and later use it together with the previous mantis powers. This should be enough to enroll in Yanjing University." After that, Yongzai gave him a C-rank ability. Its name was imitation. The description stated 5 senses that simulate the improvement of strength and dexterity, but no more than 10 times the original talent. The assessment was, a 3-fold improvement is quite enough. Yufan told his teacher not to worry because he wouldn't let him down. Yongzai told him to live a nice life and not to try to find him because he himself would periodically contact him. Yongzai then got out of the ambulance and changed his clothes. Then Lin Naishu called out to him. Yongzai was very surprised to see her there and asked, "Is it really you?" The girl came up to him and asked, "Where did you run off to? I had to look for you for so long." Yongzai hesitated and said that he was helping children in the hospital. He then asked her what had happened. Lin Naishu said, "It's nothing." She exhaled and said that they were finally saved, and the Heroes Association should now contact their families. Yongzai asked her, "What about homeless children?" Lin Naishu said they would be sent to a shelter and would live there. Yongzai replied that an orphanage is like a big family. Yongzai really hoped that they would grow up healthy. Then Lin Naishu kissed him. Afterwards, she told him he had been working hard these 2 days. Lin Naishu then shouted, "See you later!" She told Yongzai that she still had a lot of work to do, and they would see each other in Luhansk in a few days. Yongzai was very embarrassed and thought, damn, they had deprived him of the opportunity again. After all this, it was already evening. Yongzai headed to the Chashu airport. Later that night, he arrived at his sister's room. He took out his new ability and told her he really hoped the holy healing would work. Afterward, he used this ability on her, but Yongzai's sister didn't react in any way. Yongzai was very surprised by this. He started to call his sister by name, but she didn't wake up. He asked, "Did it really not work? But how is that possible?" Then he noticed something on her face and asked, "What is that?" He touched these blue orbs and said, "These blue orbs split instantly, but at the same time they become stronger. Do they really feed on energy?" Well, it seems the heart of light won't cope with this blue radiation, but Yongzai won't let them feed on her anymore. Otherwise, Fei will never wake up. Now it's time to stop acting slowly and move with confidence. If Yongzai really wants to solve his sister Fei's problem, then he must come face to face with the one who gave the sour spicy hero this blue pill. He took out 3 of his abilities: transformation, cloning, and metal control. When Yongzai took them out, he said that first of all, he needed to become even stronger. He needed to improve these 3 abilities, which he did. After all the manipulations, he acquired a ranked ability. Its name was transformation. Ability description: it gives the ability to be alerted in 0.01 seconds. It can also slightly change one's physique, appearance, voice, and personality. It improves acting skills. Ability assessment: life is like a performance, for it is based on actions that come from the state of the soul. He also gained another ranked ability called cloning. Description of this ability: it creates a clone that is 8 times weaker than its owner. The duration of its life is only half an hour. Evaluation: if the owner of this ability is brave enough, he will be able to gain new experience. After that, Yongzai combined 2 of these abilities. He said that with all his accumulated abilities, he would definitely be able to advance to S rank. After which, he fell to his knees and finally succeeded. He received an S rank ability called metal control. Ability description: capable of controlling metal within 10,000 miles, or rather, kilometers. The total weight of controlled metal must not exceed 100,000 tons. Evaluation: the owner of this ability is a real master of metal. Yongzai held this ability in his hands and said it was an S rank ability. He was increasingly impatient to meet this person. That same night, he used his control ability again and possessed the body of the superhero, Sour Spicy Noodles. The man whose face was not visible came to meet this hero. He told the superhero that they hadn't seen each other for a long time and asked him something. "Did you have any new information?" Yongzai, still in the superhero's body, replied, "Of course. Don't you want to know about Yongzai? I just have something." "Will you have enough money to buy this information?" The man scoffed. "What are men for?" He was told that if the information was reliable, he would pay twice as much. Then Yongzai began to explain that a couple of days ago, the organization of saints was destroyed in Shazhou City. "You must have heard about it, right?" The man confirmed. "Of course I did." "And the seal swordswoman Blanche from the Heroes Association," Yongzai continued. However, during her report, Blanche revealed extremely interesting information. She was helped by an unknown person who goes by the name Snake. The man replied, "Yes, I know about this too. Yongzai and Snake are both from the judges' organization. Isn't this a well-known fact?" But Yongzai kept talking, asking the man if he knew that both Yongzai and Snake possessed 2 abilities. The man questioned, "2 abilities? Perhaps their organization only accepts such heroes?" Yongzai replied, "No, such people are very rare. I don't even think such a thing is possible." The man then asked Yongzai, "What are you getting at?" Yongzai handed him a bottle containing some kind of supplement and asked the man if he had seen it before. "It's an elixir of abilities." The man inquired, "What is an elixir of abilities?" The man reached out to pick it up, but Yongzai pulled back his hand. "Yes," he explained. "After using it, a person will be able to acquire a new ability. A user without superpowers will become its owner, and those who already have one ability will gain additional strength." The man scoffed. "That's just nonsense. Complete nonsense." "How can you prove it to me?" Yongzai opened the bottle. "You probably know that my superpower is body strengthening. I will now demonstrate this effect." Then he drank the contents of the potion. He then showed the power of the fiery fist. The man was very shocked and asked, "Is that really a fire-type ability?" Yongzai explained that he had previously made a deal with him. "That's where I got this information from. Thanks to the blue pill that you gave me, I verified the existence of such things." The man exclaimed, "That's incredible! But in that case, you should know what this elixir is made of." Yongzai admitted he didn't know, but told the man everything he did know. The man remarked that this was very entertaining information and threw him 15 blue pills. Yongzai stopped him. "I need to ask you something." The man impatiently replied, "Just talk already." Then Yongzai said, "Recently I discovered my body began to be covered with light blue spots in places. Is this the effect of the blue pills? What is happening to me now?" The man, already leaving, casually replied, "That's just an unremarkable side effect. You shouldn't pay any attention to it. I'm looking forward to our next meeting, sour spicy hero." Then the man left. Yang Zai assumed his true form. Even after discovering the effect that entails loss of vitality, they call it an unremarkable side effect. What is their plan? After that, Ian Heath moved to the exit. Then he heard the sour spicy hero's child calling him. The sour spicy hero was still unconscious. Yang Zai walked up to him, threw those blue pills, and told him, "If you're doing this for your daughter's sake, you should stop taking those pills. The choice is always yours." After which, Yang Zai left. The sour spicy hero's daughter looked out from around the corner and saw her father. She asked why he was sleeping on the roof. The sour spicy hero woke up and asked his daughter, Tian Tian, for forgiveness. "Your father just accidentally fell asleep," he said. Tian Tian walked up to her father and accused him of lying when he said he would keep her company on her birthday. Then Tian Tian saw these blue pills and asked, "What is it?" Her father quickly grabbed them and told her to give them back because they weren't a toy. It was clear he had come here to meet that guy and get pills, but why couldn't he remember anything about what happened here after the deal? It was very strange. He got to his feet and told his daughter that she needed to go home and eat cake. Tian Tian was very pleased with his words. Meanwhile, at Lai Yuan's house, it was already night, so he was going to his room to sleep. He muttered, "I can't take this treatment anymore. It's impossible. It's impossible." He wondered when he would be released from here. He saw that the light was on in his father's room. It's so late. Why is the old man still in the study? He looked in and told his father to go to bed early, but when he entered the room, he realized that his father wasn't there. He decided to look around. He saw some strange papers on the table and decided to take a closer look. Lei Yuan picked up the papers and said, "What is so valuable that can make old bones work late into the night?" He started reading and found several requirements for a deployment plan. It stated, "There is no Batesian in the city of Lugansk." Lai Yuan was shocked by the information written in these papers. He asked, "What is the white area? Is it really located here? I will definitely go," he thought. He hadn't expected this. This is almost my best chance to become a rescue hero. The next day, Yang Jai headed to work. Then someone called out to him, asking if he still remembered his job. "Where have you been all this time?" At that moment, Yang Jai recalled yesterday's conversation with Liu Yuan, who had asked him if he was truly friends with Fan Teng. "He's an acquaintance of mine, and I have to help him," Yang Jai thought. Therefore, Yang Jai mentioned that a woman had come to the newspaper bureau asking to publish an ad about a missing person. He showed a missing person announcement, which stated that a 7-year-old boy named Lai Yitian was wanted. This was Xiaofang Teng's announcement, asking if anyone had heard of a boy named Lai Yitian. Yang Jai told him that he should absolutely ignore this, as it was a distraction from his work. At that moment, an announcement was made. An invasion of A-rank disaster monsters has been detected. Citizens should immediately go to shelters, and heroes of A-rank and above must come to Mingyu Street to resist. Everyone was very startled. They got scared and started panicking. Fan Teng asked, "What's going on?" Yang Jai thought, "Is it really Mingyu Street? Isn't that next to the apartment I share with Lin Naisu and the others?" Yang Jai quickly dialed Lin Naisu and asked, "Where are you now?" Lin Naisu could only say that there was a monster in the apartment. Fan Teng asked, "Did something really happen to Sister Lin?" But Yang Jai didn't answer him and ran to save Lin Naisu. The English phantom shouted to him, "Where are you running off to? You're not a hero! What's the point of you going there?" Yang Jai had already arrived on the street and was on the roof. He used his shape-shifting ability and thought, "I can't lose Lin Naisu." Here he met a huge A-rank monster. Its name was the Soul Eater Rat. It can attack enemies by making a cry. It has very thick skin all over its body. Its attacks are usually blocked with great difficulty. It loves to devour people and is a very scary monster. These rats are very cunning and not easy to defeat. Yang Jai thought that in order to defeat this A-rank monster, he would need at least teams of 3 or more A-rank heroes. However, there were 2 heroines. One of them was of A rank, known as the Green Storm. The second heroine was of A rank, known as the Fire Butterfly. When these 2 heroines arrived to help, the Soul Eater Rat sensed their presence and immediately attacked them. Green Storm shouted to the Fire Butterfly to dodge quickly. After that, Green Storm saved the Fire Butterfly. Green Storm then asked her, "Why did you come here at all? After all, you are an A-rank heroine. This is cannon fodder in a battle with it." To which the Fire Butterfly replied that she had been nearby and saw Green Storm fighting alone. "So I decided to help you." Then they heard cries for help. Turning around, they saw 2 girls, one of whom was in peril, being held by the other. It was Lin Naisu and her friend Huan. Huan asked her sister Lin Naisu for help. She cried that she didn't want to die, she wanted to live. Lin Naisu tried to calm her down, promising that she would save her. But Huan continued to cry, urging her to hurry because she didn't want to die. Then, a piece of stone broke off from above and fell directly onto Lin Naisu's hand, which was holding Huan, severely injuring her. After that, both girls broke down. Huen was caught by a fiery butterfly. In the fiery butterfly's arms, Huen asked if she was truly saved. The fiery butterfly winked at her and declared that citizens unlucky enough to get into trouble should not be afraid, because the A-rank heroine, the fiery butterfly, was here to save them all. At this time, the rescue was being broadcast live. People who saw this scene commented that it was so cool they couldn't take their eyes off it. Someone commented that he also wanted to be saved by the charming fiery butterfly. The girl leading the live broadcast told them to wait. Where are the two girls? She wondered. Lin Naisu was still falling, but then something very fast rushed by. Viewers of the live broadcast asked, "What just happened? What just flew by? It flashed by in the blink of an eye. What's the matter? Did this girl fall?" The live broadcaster, addressing the audience, said that something had just rushed through the air. They couldn't say what exactly, but the girl was saved. Then, the Green Storm shouted to the reporter to leave immediately. After all, this A-rank monster was aiming right at them and was about to attack. But still, the Green Storm, using its blinding explosion ability, was able to save a helicopter full of reporters. Meanwhile, the one who saved Lin Naisu was Yang Zai. He brought her to the park and gently placed her on a bench. He asked for her forgiveness, believing he had arrived too late. He then used his healing ability to mend her wounds. Afterward, he covered her with his cloak and assured her that she was fine now. Nothing would hurt her anymore. Yang Zai was about to leave, but Lin Naisu opened her eyes and asked if she was still alive. When she saw this hero, she grabbed his hand, asking him to stop. "Why are you pretending to be a bad guy or a good guy?" she questioned. "Were you the one who saved me?" Yang Zai told her he was just nearby, and he thought to himself that he was very sorry, but he could not reveal his identity to her, otherwise she would be in great danger. "Put it on your board," he told her, advising her to take a break and go to the shelter because she needed to evacuate from there. Then he flew away. Lin Naisu, watching him go, mused that it was strange. She was seeing him for the first time, yet for some reason, he seemed very familiar to her. In the air, Yang Zai used his other ability, cloning. He told his clone that its abilities would be the Heart of Light and the power of the Snow Queen. These would allow it to create ice and heal other people, and it would be better for the clone to remain in the image of a girl. He then used his transformation ability, creating a masked girl from his clone. After that, he told his clone that the third member of the judge's organization was born, and her name was Rabbit Mao. Yang Zai instructed Rabbit Mao to go and save those in danger, preventing the number of victims and injured from increasing. Rabbit Mao affirmed, yes. After Rabbit Mao left, Yang Zai, looking at the monster, muttered that now it was only necessary to deal with this rat thing. But then he noticed someone on the roof and wondered, what is that? Who is that? There was a girl standing on the roof, a heroine called Explosive Fist. She remarked that she never thought she would have to face such a creature right in the middle of a vacation. Now the security of the city of Lugansk is under threat, she declared. The reporter girl asked, is it really the famous A-rank heroine who was last seen in Lugansk a few years ago? People started writing comments. Someone wrote, Hori, she's back in her youth with her. Another asked, wasn't she lighter before? Someone else wondered why her skin was so tanned, and someone didn't understand at all who she was. Can someone explain to him who that girl is from behind? He asked. He was told that this was a heroine nicknamed the Fiery Fist. The heroine, Fiery Fist, waved to everyone. People in the comments perked up again and started writing, the heroine is female who fights in this style, truly unique. And the girl, Fiery Fist, asked if anyone else remembered her. Yang Zai also saw her, and decided that since there were heroes ready to take everything on themselves with their permission, he would just observe the situation, assess their strength, and then make his own decisions. The Fiery Fist girl looked at the monster and remarked, what a huge rat! She's probably quite strong. She's a great punching bag, suitable for warming up. After that, the monster decided to attack her. The Green Storm shouted to Fiery Fist, take care! Its sound wave is too great! Fiery Fist replied, if I don't try, how will I know if I can handle it or not? After that, she repelled the monster's attack. The journalist reported that it was incredible. The heroes and heroines of the Explosive Fist could easily withstand the Soul Eater rat's attack, but Fiery Fist chose to meet it face to face, as expected from her fighting style. The monster was already beginning to rejoice, thinking it had defeated the heroine, but that was not the case. Fiery Fist gathered herself and hit the monster with all her might, after which the monster fell to the ground. Fiery Fist also landed on the ground, grabbed the rat by the tail, and began to spin it. She exclaimed, this is a lot of fun! It's really funny! After Fiery Fist finished spinning the monster, she let it go. The Green Storm, observing this duel, remarked, for a crazy girl, her destructive power is not inferior even to a monster's. Meanwhile, Rabbit Mao was looking for injured people. Acting on Yongjai's orders, she saw a guy who was being hit by a huge rock and saved him. The guy was very confused and thanked Rabbit Mao for her help. He asked her what kind of heroic organization she was from. He had never seen her before. Rabbit Mao set the guy down and said that that her name was Rabbit Mao, and she was from the judges organization. The guys started whispering behind her back. One of them asked, "Who is she? She's such a hot girl." Another guy added, "She's also young." And a third guy exclaimed, "Another goddess from the judges organization. It's just full of cool guys." Then Rabbit Mao noticed Lin Naisu's friend in the fire butterfly group. Noticing them, she asked if the fire butterfly was together with Lin Naisu. Then she hurried to their aid. The girl next to them said that they had fallen from a height and suffered serious injuries, asking Rabbit Mao if she could cure them. Rabbit Mao immediately began to heal them without further ado. The people watching were delighted. One of the people exclaimed, "Their wounds seem to have disappeared. What kind of ability is this? It's just amazing. This girl is kind, beautiful, and possesses such powerful healing abilities." Rabbit Mao instructed, "Everyone should go to the shelter as soon as possible to avoid further trouble." But then a monster appeared. Everyone's ears hurt because the sound was terrifying. The girl said, "This sound has changed. Now it seems to me that my brain is about to explode." Fiery Fist exclaimed, "What is that? Is this some kind of berserker?" Yongjai said, "This is bad. This monster consumes the souls of people who are nearby." The monster began to absorb the souls of nearby people. The Greenstorm, addressing Fiery Fist, asked, "What is it?" Fiery Fist replied, "This creature absorbs the soul energy of people who have already died, and it heals its wounds too." The journalist leading the report asked if all its wounds were healed. Will the best fighter be able to cope with the Soul Eater rat now, after their face-to-face encounter? But where are the rest of the heroes from the resistance squad? Fiery Fist told the Greenstorm to retreat. After all, it seems to her that this monster will be utterly ruthless. Without waiting for the Greenstorm's response, Fiery Fist decided to attack the monster again. She attacked it, shouting for the monster to burn in hell, calling it a stupid rat. After attacking the monster, Fiery Fist exhaled and said, "This time it should work, right?" But it wasn't like that. The monster was much more cunning. It attacked the girl not with a fist, but from behind with its tail, punching her through. Fiery Fist started bleeding and exclaimed, "That's a very dirty trick, how disgusting." After that, the monster threw Fiery Fist far to the side. People began to write in the comments that they were so scared and their city of Lugansk was now in danger. Someone wondered if Fiery Fist was going to die now. Someone should help her and everyone else at the same time. But the Fire Fist girl was not going to give up and was writhing in pain. She said that she could not die here because she needed to get rid of this monster as soon as possible. Then the Green Storm came to her aid. Fire Fist was very surprised to see her here and asked her what she was doing. "Did you really want to die?" The Green Storm said that her duty as a hero is to protect people. "I can't just run away." The journalist, observing the monster, was also very surprised and remarked that everyone saw her as a noble heroine who saved the city of Lugansk. Meanwhile, the monster was advancing on them, but at the last moment, they were saved by Yongjai, who threw a metal projectile at the tail of this monster, thereby nailing its tail to the ground. The journalist began to conduct a live broadcast even more actively, exclaiming, "Wow! At the moment when we needed him the most, a super A-rank hero named Yongjai appeared. But who is such a nice girl next to him?" Then the comments came to life. People began to write that Mr. Yongjai is their hero. He came to save them. And they asked, "Who is the hot lady in the mask next to him?" Everyone wanted to know more about her right now. Someone wrote, "Just look at her mask. She must also be a member of the organization of judges." Fire Fist asked, "What are they doing?" The Green Storm told her she had no idea, but they were probably saving them. Yongjai in the sky was creating more and more metal spears, which all pierced through the dense skin of this monster. Fire Fist said, "Now it is clear. This rat heals when it absorbs the energy of other people. It is not easy to overcome, and most importantly, how do we block this ability of hers?" The Green Storm asked, "What to block? Why doesn't she just shut her mouth then?" Fire Fist hit the Green Storm on the head and asked her, "What else could you think of?" Meanwhile, Yongjai lifted this monster high into the sky. The monster was also not going to give up, sending its shockwave at Yongjai again and again. But Yongjai used his ability to block its attack. Yongjai turned to Mao Rabbit and told her not to let this monster open its mouth. Mao Rabbit said, "It's fine." She used her ability called Snow Tornado. People were all looking at the sky with great curiosity, exclaiming, "Look, this girl froze this monster. Oh, but it's so huge. How could she do that? And she must have a high rank." Fire Fist asked, "Is this monster healing again?" Yongjai lifted this monster into the sky again and told it not to even think about feeding on other people's energy again. From such a height, it definitely won't be able to move to a single corpse, and accordingly, it won't be able to apply the soul absorption spell. Yongjai then used his Metal Storm ability and killed the monster. After that, he stole its abilities. It was an A-rank ability. This ability was called Soul Eater. Description of abilities. It can absorb the souls of people who have already died in order to restore the owner's vitality. However, doing so provokes characteristic mental disorders. Ability assessment. The owner of such an ability should be extremely vigilant when using it. After receiving this ability, Yongjai said, "A soul eater differs from the heart of light in that it requires energy from the souls of other people to recover, but however, it is similar to your healing ability." A helicopter with reporters kept flying over the buildings and telling citizens not to panic. The journalists announced that they would now disperse the clouds to show everyone Mr. Yongjai's real-time situation. When they dispersed the clouds, they saw that Mr. Yongjai was right next to them. The journalist waved her hand at him and said they really wanted to interview him. A lot of comments poured in. Someone said that while Mr. Yongjai took this creature with him into the sky, it then disappeared. Someone else asked if he had killed it above the clouds. So that's the strength of a real A-rank hero. Another person wrote that several heroes could not cope with the Soul Eater and were injured. But now, a few minutes later, it's gone. Firefist said that his strength is many times greater than that of the Soul Eater rat. He must be an S-rank hero. Then Mao Rabbit came down behind them. Greenstorm and Firefist turned around together. Firefist asked Mao Rabbit what she wanted from them. After that, Mao Rabbit directed her power at them. Greenstorm darted to protect Firefist. Greenstorm thought it was definitely over now, but it wasn't as bad as they thought. Greenstorm, addressing Firefist, said, "You really heal quickly." Firefist asked, "Is this some kind of rare healing ability? But who are you?" Mao Rabbit introduced herself, stating she was from the judges' organization. A helicopter with reporters flew near them. The journalist reported that the new heroine, who came with Yongjai, was also a member of the judges' organization. She possessed healing abilities and was currently tending to the wounds of other heroes. Everyone actively posted comments, admiring these two heroes from the judges' organization. Firefist turned to Mao Rabbit and said, "The judges' organization is some kind of new heroic agency. I've never heard of such a thing before, but thanks to you, we together prevented this catastrophe." Mao Rabbit replied, "Your abilities are also worthy of respect." After that, they headed back together with Yongjai. The journalist, addressing all their fans and those watching the live broadcast, announced that superheroes had once again protected the city of Lugansk from the invasion of monsters. The greatest contribution to the victory was made by representatives of the judges' organization. They sincerely congratulated them all and thanked them for their help. Greenstorm started admiring Mao Rabbit, saying, "She's so beautiful." Firefist, a little upset, remarked, "They took all the glory for themselves." Yongjai then mentioned that his godson had asked him for a meeting. "I wonder what kind of information he wants to tell me now," Yongjai mused. Then Mao Rabbit told him that her time was running out. Yongjai asked, "Is the clone's lifetime already running out?" The clone's abilities returned directly to him, which was very convenient. In the future, Yongjai would be able to create them to perform tasks instead of him. Even her memories had come back to him, and those lustful glances in her direction were just disgusting. Now, he would definitely not create female clones. In what clothes are girls comfortable communicating with each other? This sucks and is nonsense, he thought, frustrated. Liu Yun was already waiting for his godfather with might and main. He wondered if the girl's smile wasn't much cuter. Yongjai watched him, thinking what an idiot his godson was. Is it really so difficult to take care of yourself? Yongjai thought. He noticed the forest and realized Liu Yun didn't even know he was being followed. Then he landed near him and asked, "Did you find anything?" Liu Yun was very happy to see him and said, "Don't you even want to meet your godson?" Then the two of them heard some rustling in the bushes. Liu Yun turned around and asked, "What is that sound? Who is sitting there?" Yongjai coughed, telling him, "Give me these documents first and I'll check the information." Liu Yun handed his godfather the documents, and Yongjai began to read them. Yongjai said, "It turns out the Heroes Association recently planned the opening of a Beikang facility in the city of Lugansk. I thought it would take them a lot of time." Liu Yun told him, "I heard there are special items or equipment in the world that can increase the level of strength. We should get these things into our hands as soon as possible." Yongjai told him that the information was very valuable. He had done enough to exchange his merits for a C-rank ability. After which, he took out a bottle of potion from his pocket and gave it to Liu Yun. Liu Yun happily snatched the bottle and immediately drank it. After that, he thanked his godfather. But when he drank the medicine, he started spitting and told his godfather, "This medicine tastes like banlangen powder mixed with the sourness of dark chocolate." Yongjai patted him on the back and said, "Good medicine is always bitter." After which, Liu Yun turned into a werewolf again. Now he had a C-rank ability. The name of this ability was still Werewolf. Ability description: endows the owner of this ability with the powers of a hereditary werewolf. Every night during the full moon, the transformation will occur abnormally, but it will grant the owner double the power. Ability assessment: escaped husky. Liu Yun was very pleased with his new ability and told his godfather Godfather. I'm already feeling stronger and stronger. Young-jae told him, at this rate, you're becoming an experienced S-rank user is just around the corner. In the end, everyone aspires to it, right? After which, Young-jae started to say, the mechanical hero, Liu Yun interrupted, Godfather, what did you just say? After all, his old man is probably drinking and bathing with a large group of beauties right now, and he just doesn't have time for it. But then, the mechanical hero emerged from the forest. Yes, he said, but before we start talking, I have to chop this bad boy into pieces. It was already evening. Liu Yun was pressed against a wall and asked, is it really serious? He asked his father if he wouldn't even feel sorry for him, to which the mechanical hero replied that he was just a cheeky child. Come on, can't you call your godfather already? I'm leaking all the information and now you want to beat me to death. Young-jae told the mechanical hero that he didn't expect him to chase Liu Yun personally. We made a deal with your youngest son because he really wanted to get the ability, so you shouldn't scold him for it. Liu Yun told his father that he had had enough beating already. From now on, I will not divulge family secrets, and you should not worry about my connection with the Godfather. The mechanical hero shouted at his son, telling him to shut up and stand further against the wall. Turning to Young-jae, the mechanical hero said that this impudent child was born without abilities, and now he just gives him superpowers. Young-jae thought, is he really without abilities? Apparently he doesn't know his son well. He isn't an A-rank ability user. He's a rebirth. He's his ace up his sleeve. Young-jae told the mechanical hero that it's a small matter. Giving him 1, 2, or even 3 abilities is easy. Liu Yun was shocked. He asked the Godfather if he could really get other superpowers. The mechanical hero asked Young-jae if anyone could even be an A-rank hero like himself. Young-jae thought, the same cunning person who can't cope with what he already has will pull even more. But this is a normal reaction. People who crave power will try to become stronger at any cost. And he said, of course, but the price for an A-rank ability would be very high. The mechanical hero asked him to tell him about it in more detail. Then Young-jae threw him a blue pill and asked if he knew what it was. The mechanical hero examined the blue pill and said that he had never seen such a thing before. Young-jae chuckled and told him that he wasn't even aware that some people in his company were already using these blue pills. If the hero eats one such pill, his power will increase 3-fold. The mechanical hero asked him if he was also from the organization that produced them, to which Young-jae said, no, I am from another country, but I was cooperating with Liu Yun in order to get information about their organization. The mechanical hero turned to his son and told him to calm down and tell him everything he knew. Then Liu Yun began to tell him that Lai Kang-yang, the hero Bing Chuan, ate a lot of this drug to get rid of many naive people through indirect means. I saw it all with my own eyes. The mechanical hero was very surprised and asked if such a small pill really had such strong properties. He wondered how Bing Chuan was provoking all these accidents. I finally got to the truth, and after all these words, I want the mechanical hero to find out everything about their organization. Young-jae told him that he not only still needed his help in order to enter the White Realm plan, but as a reward, I would give him an A-rank pill that would provide a 2-fold boost. The mechanical hero asked him if he really wanted to join the White Area plan. Let's just pretend you didn't tell me this, but the White Area is a very dangerous place. People who enter there die and never come back alive. Young-jae told him not to worry about him. I just need to use this ring in order to collect ability genes. The mechanical hero asked, what are ability genes? Then Young-jae began to tell him that these are the most important ingredients in the manufacture of the elixir of abilities. Criminals take them from weapons, from the bodies of monsters, from materials, and so on. And the White Area is full of monsters waiting for their death. The mechanical hero asked what he would do to prove that the elixir of abilities was so effective. Young-jae said that his very existence was the strongest confirmation of this. If the mechanical hero believes that judges cannot be trusted and refuses to cooperate with them, then that is his right. Then Liu Yun, who had already turned back, stepped in and told his old man that it wasn't necessary. I'm still afraid that my father might interfere with my advancement. The mechanical hero couldn't stand it and hit his son on the head. We are a family, he exclaimed. If your father has meat, do you really think we would feed you meat soup? Then, addressing Young-jae, he said that it was good he agreed to cooperate. Young-jae would deal with the hero Bing Chuan. He had already stated on the flight that this was a wise decision, and he very much hoped for a successful partnership. He was looking forward to their next meeting. It was already late in the evening when Lin Naisu returned to her room. Her apartment building had collapsed, and she hadn't expected to spend the entire night in the hospital. But when she entered the ward and saw Young-jae, Jai, she was very surprised. She asked him, "Why are you here?" Yang Jai approached her and said he had been looking for her all day. He had heard that all the wounded from the shelter had been transferred there. So he asked her what was wrong and if everything was okay. Lin Naisu replied that she had only received a small skin injury, but her house was gone and she had nowhere to live. Yang Jai then told her that it was no problem. She could move in with him. Lin Naisu was very confused and asked him, "What do you really mean by living together? It's too early." Yang Jai was also embarrassed by her words and quickly said he wasn't talking about that. Lin Naisu pouted, rushed to the window and said, "No, you should forget about it. I don't want to live with you yet." Yang Jai wanted to tell her something, but she didn't listen to him. Lin Naisu, still by the window, said she was still thinking about her chicken. Yang Jai asked, "What did you say? What kind of chicken?" Lin Naisu turned to face him with a big smile and told him, "Did you know I almost died today? This mysterious Yoji appeared and saved me. He's so beautiful, and I thought it would be necessary to interview him and inform the public about his good deeds." Then Yang Jai couldn't stand it and grabbed her in his arms. Lin Naisu asked, "What are you doing?" Yang Jai walked over to the bed and threw her onto it. Lin Naisu was confused and asked him what he was going to do. She looked at Yang Jai questioningly and told him, "You can't do this in the hospital." After which Yang Jai lay down next to her. They covered themselves with a blanket. Yang Jai hugged her and told her to go to sleep. Tomorrow he would help her with the move. She would live with him now. Lin Naisu said it was fine, and she thought, is that really all? Is that all? The next day Yang Jai boarded the plane. He talked on the phone with Lin Naisu. He asked her if she had checked for the frying pan in the kitchen cupboard. Lin Naisu told him she had already searched the entire kitchen and couldn't find a single grain of rice. "How can you be so sloppy?" she exclaimed. Yang Jai, who had already boarded the plane and was packing his things, replied, "Yes, this is how I am." He told her she could take his card, which he had given her yesterday, and buy everything she needed. Lin Naisu said, okay. She would wait for him until he returned from his business meeting. She would prepare a surprise for him, after which she meowed to him. Yang Jai sat down in his seat, meowed back, and said he would call her as soon as he got off the plane, then said goodbye. The man sitting next to Yang Jai heard this and muttered, "Oh, these animals." When the plane took off, Yang Jai looked around and saw Tian Dodo. He thought he was going to Shazhou to make a deal with the Fahai Chamber of Commerce, but he hadn't expected to be on the same flight as Tian Dodo. However, in ordinary clothes, she was unlikely to recognize him. Men from other seats also began to look at them, thinking that two lovely ladies were with them today. The girl sitting next to Tian Dodo asked the stewardess if she could pass her a towel. The stewardess replied, "Of course, I'll get it now." Then Tian Dodo saw Yang Jai looking at her and said, "Why are you staring at me like that? Have you never seen beautiful girls before?" She called him a criminal and a pervert. Yang Jai thought that if she had known he was her beloved Mr. Yujai, she wouldn't have been so angry at him or shouted across the entire cabin. Meanwhile, the stewardess had already brought a towel and was about to give it to the girl, but Yang Jai saw the towel fall. The stewardess cried for help. Yang Jai looked up and realized someone had hijacked the plane. The man who presented the gun to the stewardess shouted, "Everyone, hands behind your heads!" The other hijackers also started shouting for everyone to put their hands behind their heads. Yang Jai paid attention to their weapons, noting they were made entirely from mutated beasts. The man noticed Yang Jai looking at his weapon and demanded, "What are you looking at?" He then ordered him to quickly put his hands behind his head. Yang Jai thought, those with guns must be users of at least a certain rank. What kind of organization dares to hijack a plane in broad daylight? But he couldn't reveal himself as Yu Jai in front of such a crowd. He just needed to come up with something. Meanwhile, the man ordered the stewardess to open the cockpit immediately. The stewardess said it was fine. She would open it now, but she asked to be let go. The man entered the cabin and told his friend that they should act according to the plan. The stewardess asked the man, "Is the plane really on manual control? Where are you taking our plane?" The man, presenting the gun to her head, said, "Of course, we're flying to the tallest building in Shizhou, the Zhubai Tower. We will all die together with our Class 2 workers." Then the man fired. The man sitting next to Yang Jai said this was his last flight, but it was worth it to see such beauty. Yang Jai thought, is this old man really thinking about girls before his death? He then asked, where did these kidnappers come from? Tian Dodo said they took control of the plane to shoot down the White Tower, and they surely hate the 2nd District. If that's the case, then they've probably been on their own since the 35th District incident. Yang Jai asked her, what really happened to the 35th District? Why do you think that? Tian Dodo asked him if he still hadn't heard about this story. Yang Jai then said that when Azuristar was just founded, people from the 2nd District invaded the peaceful 50th District. After defending the peaceful 50th District, the 35th District demanded that the government force the 2nd District to publicly apologize for that year's invasion and compensate for the losses and damage caused. But the arrogant chairman of the 2nd District's parliament rejected and abandoned this decision. Undoubtedly, their actions are very arrogant and cruel. However, times are changing, and such terrible terrorist methods cannot solve the problem. Tian Dodo agreed with him, saying, yes, only we civilians will suffer from this. One of the terrorists terrorists overheard their conversation. He approached Tiendodo and asked, "What are the two of you talking about?" Tiendodo told him she was apologizing for nothing and promised not to do it again. But the man did not believe her. Grabbing her by the hand, he asked, "There really won't be any more?" He then added, "I think it will be like that." He grabbed her and carried her to the plane's door, opening it. He said, "If you want to die, I'll throw you down immediately." Tiendodo was terrified and begged him not to throw her out. "There's no need to do this," she cried, beginning to call for help. At this, Yongjai couldn't stand it any longer. He stormed out of his seat, declaring, "This terrorist is a scoundrel." Just then, two heroes appeared. One of them saved Tiendodo, telling her not to worry because he would take her back. Then the A-rank hero Starcloak appeared and said, "Forgive us, we're a little late." The man who saved Tiendodo was also an A-rank hero, named Captain Cigar. Upon seeing the two heroes, people began to rejoice. They exclaimed, "It's the A-rank heroes, Captain Cigar and Starcloak. Now we're all saved." Yongjai exhaled, thinking, now everything should fall into place. Starcloak went to deal with the terrorists. Yongjai thought that his cloak was a spiritual weapon with strong self-awareness. "It's very difficult to underestimate his combat power," he mused. One of the terrorists said, "It really is him. Not bad." Starcloak confronted them and said, "Only you guys are left. Don't you still want to just lower your weapons and escape?" The terrorist was furious. "All the people from the 2nd District are insidious and cunning," he shouted. "But do you really think that's it?" After which, they activated the fruit meat bomb ability. Starcloak was very shocked. "This is bad," he exclaimed. Captain Cigar even dropped the cigar from his mouth. After the terrorists used this ability, the plane began to fall. Civilians were terrified. Captain Cigar shouted, "Put on your oxygen masks, quickly!" He then turned to Starcloak and asked if he had any useful abilities. "For example, can you use crying to lift a plane?" Starcloak didn't like it. "Do you really think I'm an S-rank hero?" he retorted. "All the passengers are ordinary citizens. I can lift only a few of them at best, but no more than that." Civilians overheard this and begged him to take them with him. Someone shouted, "Take me with you. I'll pay whatever you wish." Yongjai thought, they're not going to pay right here, are they? A real farce had begun. People began to argue over who Starcloak would take with him. Captain Cigar told Tiendodo to return to her seat and fasten her seatbelt. Tiendodo said it was fine, and that Captain Cigar was very kind. She ran up to her friend. Her friend said she was very scared, to which Tiendodo told her not to be afraid. "Because I'm back now," she added. Then Starcloak came up with something and told Captain Cigar he had an idea, instructing him to follow. Captain Cigar asked, "What are you going to do? We can't abandon the passengers." Starcloak told him he needed to trust him, otherwise it would be too late. They both stood on Starcloak and climbed to the top of the plane. Then it dawned on Yongjai that he could also create clones outside the plane. After all, even with only 10% of the creator's power, such a clone would surely be able to save the plane. Yongjai proceeded to do just that. He used his shadow clone ability and created a clone outside the plane. Starcloak told Captain Cigar to use his ability and create a large parachute to slow down the plane's fall. Captain Cigar exclaimed, "How did I not think of that before?" He admitted Starcloak was smarter than he was. Captain Cigar then used his cigar smoke ability. After he did, he exhaled and moved, saying it was very tiring, and he was almost exhausted. But it turned out Starcloak had something else in mind. He was now standing behind Captain Cigar and told him he was very grateful for his hard work. Starcloak added, "Because it's so hard to be a good person." Captain Cigar looked at him and said it was his duty as a superpower owner. Then a clone of Yongjai arrived, remarking that something seemed to be slowing down the plane. He wondered, did those two ranked heroes who came to the rescue do it? Meanwhile, Starcloak made a spear out of his cloak and pierced Captain Cigar with it, saying, "I'm already sick of saying that forever." Yongjai was very surprised and asked, "What the hell is going on here?" Starcloak then told Captain Cigar that he was better than him, but every time Captain Cigar went on a mission, he took all the glory for himself, making Starcloak less popular, and because of this, sponsors didn't want to cooperate with him. Captain Cigar, writhing in pain, tried to say something, but the severe pain prevented him. Starcloak turned his back on him and said, "Since you're so good, then die for these peaceful citizens. And I'll tell the press that Captain Cigar died in a plane crash while trying to save people like a real hero." After that, Starcloak left. A clone of Yongjai came to Captain Cigar's aid, telling him to hold on as his ability should heal him. He used the Ray of Light ability, but Captain Cigar said it was useless. "He wounded me with a spiritual weapon. Such injuries can no longer be treated." Yongjai was shocked and asked, "Now what?" Captain Cigar said, "You're too naive. I didn't think he hated me so much. My poor son is still waiting for me at home to play football with him." Meanwhile, Starcloak returned to the plane. The people were very happy to see him. Someone exclaimed, "Starcloak is back. Are we really saved? But where is the other hero?" To which Starcloak replied that Captain Cigar had thrown all his strength into covering up the wreck, but he himself couldn't completely stop it. He asked the peaceful citizens for forgiveness, and said he could take only a few of them with him. After that, Starcloak grabbed the most beautiful girls. Tien Dudu's girlfriend also fell into his clutches. She cried, "No, I want to stay with Dudu!" After that, Starcloak flew away. The people who stayed on board the plane were in a panic. A man asked if they had really been abandoned to their fate, and the woman sitting next to him said, "We're all finished. Now we'll all die." Yang Jai then stole Captain Cigar's ability and vowed that when the time came, he would definitely avenge him. It was a ranked ability named Cigar Smoke. Description of abilities: materialize absorbed smoke, which can only be used in an oxygen-containing environment. Assessment of abilities: smoking is harmful to health, so you need to get rid of this habit. Then, through the window, people saw that Mr. Yang Jai seemed to be there. Had he come to save them all? Yang Jai used the metal control ability to delay the plane's fall. Meanwhile, the plane got closer to the ground and eventually crashed, and yet the plane was saved, and all the people survived. The civilians were happy. Were they all jubilant? They had landed in the desert. But where was the A-rank hero, Captain Cigar? And where did Mr. Yujai go? Someone had just seen him. Tiendu said she was scared to death. She had already thought she would definitely die here. Surviving under such circumstances was not very pleasant. Then she remembered Mr. Yujai. She started looking for him with her eyes and said, "By the way, since Mr. Yujai is here, why don't I see him?" Then 3 ambulances rushed to their aid. In front of them was Starcloak, who urged them to move faster. Because the captured plane had crashed, dozens of wounded were waiting for rescue. Journalists and reporters also flew to the scene. A journalist announced that they would keep everyone informed of what was happening at the crash site of the stolen plane in real time, but no one seemed to have been hurt there. Starcloak stepped forward and exclaimed, "It couldn't be. Where did all the victims go? I saw the plane fall with my own eyes. How did they manage to save everyone without a single scratch?" Then Tiendu came up to him and started shouting, "What have you done to them? And where did you take Sister Ron and the others?" A journalist interjected, stating that they did not yet know what exactly had happened here. However, the plane had landed safely, despite the crash. Some had seen Mr. Yujai, who was able to control metal. Perhaps he saved them all, together with Captain Cigar. However, no one saw where they disappeared to. Starcloak then stated that Captain Cigar was his partner. They had participated in the rescue operation together. Then a journalist approached him and asked if he would tell them what had happened, even for the sake of accuracy. Starcloak shed a tear and said that when the moment of the crash was very close, Captain Cigar threw all his strength into slowing down the fall and died from exhaustion. He was only able to save a few passengers. Taking this into account, he realized that a catastrophe was simply inevitable, so he called an ambulance as soon as possible to save the victims. But he did not expect them to be so lucky, and for everyone to remain intact. Then Mr. Yujai arrived and told Starcloak to stop pretending. "Don't you know whether this luck was real or not?" Yujai then descended, holding Captain Cigar in his arms. He then told Starcloak, "Here is your partner." Yujai approached Tiendu and asked, "Everyone says you saved this plane. Is it true?" Yujai then gently placed Captain Cigar on the ground and spoke. He explained that he only helped a little, and the true hero here was not him, but Captain Cigar. Tiendu then asked, "Did Captain Cigar really die from overwork, from using too much of his strength? But where did the hole in his chest come from?" The rest of the passengers on the plane confirmed, "There really is a huge hole here. What's going on?" It seemed Captain Cigar died not from overwork at all, but from being stabbed. Yujai turned to Starcloak and asked, "So what really happened here?" Starcloak shouted at him not to ask about it, claiming he had no idea what had happened. Yujai said, "Okay, in that case, I'll let everyone know what really happened here." He then addressed all the people who had gathered. He declared that Starcloak had lured Captain Cigar out of the plane under the pretext of saving people, then forced him to use all his strength, killing him when he weakened. The evidence of this fact is right on his cloak. There are bloodstains. You, the fallen general, it's enough just to conduct a blood examination, and everything will immediately become clear. People paid attention to the Starcloak's cloak and exclaimed, "God, yes, there is actually blood." He wouldn't kill his partner, would he? Could he really have done that? But if everything is not as described by Mr. Yujai, then what can explain the wound on Captain Cigar's body? The journalists asked the Starcloak to comment on Mr. Yujai's accusations. Is he telling the truth? And will the Starcloak allow a blood test on his cloak? The Starcloak said he was stupid. He did not expect that his carefully thought out plan would be destroyed by this scoundrel who appeared out of nowhere. there. He did not understand Captain Cigar's appearance at all. Is he just lucky? In what way is he worse than Captain Cigar? Why is he more popular than him? Mr. Yujai said that those people from the 35th region were surprised when they saw the Star Cloak, and betrayal was evident on their faces. Mr. Yujai believes that the Star Cloak secretly made a deal with them and arranged for the hijacking of the plane. The Star Cloak rose into the sky and, laughing, said, "Did he really find that out too? That's right. I'm also from the 35th region. I had to sacrifice so many brothers and all in vain." He created a sandstorm and declared, "They are dumb assholes from the 2nd region. Now they have to die." The Star Cloak began to tell his story. He said that as a child he had a favorite raincoat that his mother gave him before her death. She told him that all superheroes who save the world wear such cloaks. The Star Cloak was born in the 35th region, where the sun does not shine, where only ashes are around. Flowers were treated as saints, worshipped. Although they had to dig in the trash in order to survive, the Star Cloak was happy when he thought that the whole world was like that, until one day, he accidentally got into Region 2. Then he first learned that water can be delicious, flowers capable of blooming grow everywhere, that the sky is blue and the clouds are white. But the locals were just awful. As soon as they knew that he was from the 35th region, they began to look down on him, laugh at him, and even beat him. The Star Cloak thought that he had done something bad since he was treated like this. But as soon as he began to get to the truth, he discovered that it was not him at all, but these usurpers who steal resources, offend the weak, and behave arrogantly towards others. When the Star Cloak realized this, his cloak awakened its spiritual power. Then he forged a passport in order to stay there, and in secret traded information with people from Region 25. He provoked them to commit terrorist acts, and then became a hero and saved people. Thus, the Star Cloak slowly turned from an ordinary resident into a respected A-rank hero. These stupid pigs started treating him with respect, honoring his might. He enjoyed it, basking in the glory, until Captain Cigar appeared and all the attention shifted to him. The Star Cloak couldn't stand it, so he tried his best to kill people, but Captain Cigar saved them again and again. But it's so much fun! All those stupid pigs in 2 regions, Captain Cigar himself, as well as these stupid rules, deserve to die. They all have to die. Kai and Dodo Do said that the Star Cloak was crazy and that he was not himself. Who has he become, and how does he differ from the usurpers he was talking about? Dodo Do turned to Mr. Yujai and said, "He has completely lost his mind. He was going to kill everyone." Mr. Yujai noticed one strange thing in this typhoon. He saw some kind of portal there and thought that this spiritual equipment depends entirely on the emotions of the owner, and after so many murders it was pumped up to S rank. Tien Dodo took out her bag and started digging in it. She asked, "What is really S rank? I really want it for myself." There was nothing in her bag that could compete with S rank equipment. "What should we do?" she asked Mr. Yujai. "Can you handle it?" She looked at his hands, saw that they were shaking, and asked him, "Your hands are shaking from fear. If even you are afraid of him, then what will happen to us?" Mr. Yujai asked her, "Do you think I'm a coward? I'm not scared. I'm just excited." Mr. Yujai turned to the Star Cloak and said, "According to your stories, you secretly killed the civilians of Region 2 to let off steam, didn't you?" The Star Cloak said, "Yes, I have killed many, and those fans who turned out to be there, the random person